Hi guys, it's Andy from mcfcfantv and welcome to another Friday night social. And as usual, we've got some guests on, so we may as well bring them on. First up, the usual. How you doing, mate?
I'm all right, Andy. I'm all right. I'm keeping up there, mate. It's the missus' birthday today, so yeah.
Champagne went down well.
Yeah, it goes straight to my head, that stuff.
So what is it? What are you on tonight? You did say you might go
on the beer.
Yeah,
unless I wouldn't make the end of it if I went on the JD, I don't think, mate.
We got Kurt on. How are you doing, mate? You all right?
I'm not too bad. Real bad night with my sleep this week, but other than that, not been too bad. How about yourself?
Yeah, good, thank you. Yeah, very good, apart from getting my dog in out of the bloody rain. Lashing it down out there. And over in probably sunny Melbourne, we've got Sir Alan. How you doing, mate?
G'day, boys. And it's not sunny Melbourne today. I'm down in Hobart in Tasmania visiting my family.
Oh, right. Okay.
So I'm down here today, and my dad's not been great, so I've come down for the weekend.
How's Tassie?
It's all right. The weather's been good yesterday. Forecast is 21 degrees and sunny. So I'm taking my dad out to watch some cricket this afternoon.
What was he talking about there? I'm sure. Did he say 21 degrees? No, that can't be right. No, bring him on. You say you're taking your dad to watch the cricket? Yeah,
I'm watching. He watches the district side over here, Sandy Bay in Hobart. And they're playing Clarence, which is at the over on the other side of the bay. So it'll be nice today. So I'll take him over there, cheer him up.
We'll have a great day with your dad, mate.
Yeah, we'll do.
Right, let's get into see who is on tonight, and then I'll go through what we were talking about. Gary Holden, I will put Liam Delap in the first team squad or on the bench. The experience with the first team would be brilliant. We see that with Phil Foden. Say no more, reckons Gary. Charlie's on, evening all. It's Friday, so it only means one thing. The FS, come on City. I'm going 2-0. We'll come to that later, Charlie, but welcome on as usual. Adam Quinn, how are you? Hope you're well, Sean. God, everyone's getting the score predictions in early. Ross is on. Bonjour Blues. Hashtag haircuts. Hashtag delicious. Hashtag Gabby one goal. Hashtag Bellings. Hashtag lasagna. Yeah. We've got a new. Now, John's on. Hello, fellow Blues. How are you? Charlie says, hola, Ross. Haircuts delicious. There you go. It's copying. It's trending already. Hey, Charlie. Says Ross, hi there. Hashtag delicious. Says Mingy Wong. I mean, they're all at it. Sean Fogarty, we need to pick the right lineup for tomorrow. This game's not going to be easy. I'm sure it won't be. Farhan's hi. Sam Martin's on. He says, hi, guys. How are you, Sam? Hope you're well. Sean says, Sean's giving his life, giving everything early here, mate. You have to wait for it. Wait. Sean says, how do? Let's get this party started. The weekend starts here. Dale Brennan says 3-1 to He's giving scores already as well. Horsey, so Martin's on. Hey, Mingy One, hope you're good. Ross says, freshly dyed Alan.
Don't dye my hair, trust me. He needs to, trust me. He's doing great, big time.
I tell you what, though, Alan, it's getting a bit thin, isn't it? It's getting a bit thin.
Let's look at that.
Yeah. It's getting a bit thin at the back there.
Yeah, I know it is. It's got very thin now.
Ross got some good footage on your Melbourne derby day, mate.
Really good.
Did everyone like that?
It was really good, mate.
It was superb. It was absolutely brilliant. And thank you to you and Ross for doing that.
I did like the casuals, with the gear on and the pretend hooligans. Absolutely hilarious.
I'll tell you what, Alan. The fact of just seeing fans in a stadium for the first time in ages,
brilliant.
The atmosphere of everything, it was just great, mate. Thanks for doing it, and thanks for Ross.
It was actually good fun. Actually, it was really good fun. We tried to find United and Liverpool fans, which was nice to do. So that was quite funny.
I was so envious of you because I'm just going to bring it up here and I'll post a link because it just took me back and I posted on Twitter, didn't it?
Yeah, he did actually. It was good.
It just made me really miss going to the games and interviewing and chatting to fans. It was brilliant.
Yeah.
Again, I'll put the link in there, so if you want to go and watch it, if you haven't seen it, go over and watch it. It's brilliant. Leonard's on. Evening, everyone. Andy, good evening, Leonard. How are you? Ocean Rage is on. Martin, how are you, buddy? Lassale Blur, hi, Martin. Hashtag sure, hashtag hair dye. TM6 evening, everyone. Hey, listen, Alan, it comes to the best of us, mate.
No.
My lads shaved mine off this evening.
Your beard's natural, isn't it? Your beard's natural, but then it goes dark black and weird.
Mine's all over the place here. I mean, it's like bit of black here. I mean, I used to have this black line, but it's going grey, and it's now going into nothing, mate. It happens to us. Noah's on. Hey guys, hope you're all well. Martin says, not too bad, guys. We'll dip in and out when Alan is talking, so don't get. Andy will be using that to practice. Hi guys, hope you're well. Says Abdallah, we're good, mate. There's the link. If you've not seen the Melbourne video, go over and watch it. Tyrone's back again. Sup boys, how are you, Tyrone? Hope you're well, mate. Kex is on. Great derby video, Sir Alan. It was Alan and Ross did a brilliant job. Hey Noah, says Simon. That Melbourne vlog was absolutely fantastic. A really good watch. Thanks, Alan and Ross. What a brilliant thing to do. It was excellent. And I said, it took me ages to edit it all together, but I loved every minute. I was just like watching the things over and over again. And there were things missing from it as well. We need to go all out for Haaland. Maybe we'll talk about that later. Right, on to tonight.
One second, Andy. We had a super chat from Zag on the earlier on. I just didn't want to miss it.
No, brilliant. Worries. Thank you for bringing that up. That's the problem when you're trying to get through so many comments. Zagon, hello, how are we all? Zagon, thank you so much, mate. Really do appreciate that. That's why we've got odds on in case Andy misses stuff, which no doubt I will do. But thanks, Kurt, for picking that one up.
No problem, mate. Thanks for the contribution, mate. Always appreciate it. Thank you. And I'm doing well, mate.
Absolutely brilliant. So thank you, Zagon. Right, on to the lineup for tonight. Well, we're going to do a quick preview on the Fulham game. Chris has got some stats. We're going to talk about Pep's press conference. We'll give our thoughts on how the game might go. The lineup, we'll give our lineup so you can give yours and also a prediction. That will be the sort of end of part one. We'll have a quick break, and then what we'll do is come back, and we've got some really interesting questions tonight. There's one from Alan about clean sheets. There's another from Chris about Foden's penalty. We've got one from Kurt about Riyad Mahrez. So the Mahrez fans, hang around for that one. And then we might have another question from Alan, but it all depends on the timing. But we have got tonight on the community chat I put on today, we are going to choose, or the guys are going to choose, one of the questions from the community chat today. And we've also got today's poll, which I did say today, if you guys wanted to have a question that you wanted read out, please copy it below. And we did have a few, but put a poll out, and the poll is still live now. And it was, which ex-Man City player would you like to play in this City team? And so far, there's 224 votes on there. I gave King Clancy, I gave Gota, I gave Tevez, I gave Dzeko, and then the other option was another, and you post which one it was below. So we've had a load of replies to that. So that's what we're going to go through tonight. But first off, we're going to start with the Fulham preview. And first up, Chris, Statman Chris, what this week have you got for the stats about Fulham?
All right, well, so it's after 4 successive home games. We're back on the road. We'll talk about our recent form a bit later on. And Fulham are scrapping hard for their Premier League survival. They're giving themselves a chance. They've had a good little run. And they beat Liverpool at Anfield last time out. But everyone wins there these days, don't they? So it's not that much of a thing. So we've only played Fulham 68 times competitively. We've won 35 of them. They've won 17 and draw 16. So we got a win ratio of 51 and they've got 25. City's last 10 visits to Craven Cottage have yielded 6 wins, 3 draws and 1 loss. The loss was back in 2005 and the last draw we had was 2011. So the recent form's really good. As we know, City's current form is pretty good apart from that slip up last week. Played 10, won 9, lost to 1. And we've won our last 7 away games. And Fulham's form is pretty decent too. Their last 10, they've won 3, drawn 5, and lost 2. They don't score many. They scored 7 in those games and let in 6. So quite tight. And the games they've won are 2 away games at Anfield and Everton, and a home win against Sheffield United. At home, though, they've played the last 5. They've won 1, drawn 1, and lost 3, and only scored twice. So, yeah, it's going to be a tight game. Last time out, 2-0 win at Etihad with Sterling and a KDB scored a penalty. And the lineup was Eddie, Cancelo, Stones and Diaz, Mendy, Rodri, Gundo, KDB, Mahrez, Raz and Gabby.
Interesting. That's going to be interesting when we come to the lineups, which we'll come to shortly. But today, I don't know whether you've seen it, but obviously Pep's press conference was quite interesting, and I'll just read out some of the main quotes from Pep today. On VAR, he basically said they have to improve it. It's that simple. There's been a lot of social media pundits, you name it, have been talking about VAR non-stop since the Foden incident. We are going to come on to the Foden. That's one of Chris's questions later. Fulham, he said he thinks Scott Parker's innovative. He said just like Mr. Potter from Brighton. I like the way he calls him Mr. Potter. Yeah, he says he thinks he's innovative. And he said the Premier League is full of impressive managers. Really likes the way that some of the younger managers go all out to play the game in the right way. And somebody asked him about the pitch, which I think a lot of us have commented on lately. Said our grass is not good. And that was it. But he was asked a question later by Stu Brennan. Pep, obviously, manager of the month. Ilkay Gundogan has got player of the month as well. And he said on that, it's about the backroom staff as well. Don't forget those. It's not just about me. It's not just about the player. All the players, it's about everybody else involved and the backroom staff that have got us to where we are at the moment. He said he's got a big admiration for managers who play football the right way, even when they're down the table. He still likes the way they.
Someone doing the hoovering or something?
I don't know.
It's not my sister.
I hope not.
I don't know what that was. Sound like a what's it called? A Uber driver on a motorbike coming to deliver a takeaway.
I thought it was going to be something worse than that.
No, yeah, well, you know, I didn't want to say that. But anyway, Alan, just press pause on your laptop a minute. Just press pause.
Mute.
It's Alan. There you go. It's something in your background. But anyway, there you go. We don't have to embarrass your sister now. Anyway, on to new managers. He said across Europe are trying to play this way. They're trying to play football in the right way. He said, and the fans will enjoy it more. TV sponsorships, etc., will improve if football teams try and play football in the right way. So he pushed on that. On the VAR and Foden, he said refs have a tough job. It's so fast the game this day and age. That's why VAR is there. We just need accuracy. Hopefully, it will get better. And then Stu Brennan went back to the grass issue and said, you know, there's been like the grass and the pitch has been cut up a lot lately. And his words were, the grass is not good, but they are working on it. And it was if he already knows the problem. And he said, which is unusual because we've had one of the best pitches around for decades. Main Road was a fantastic pitch, and the Etihad has been beautiful. Yeah, clearly we can see it's not good at the moment. It really isn't. It looks very bobbly and very much cut up, even though, you know, we have just had 4 home games on the run, all within a short period of time. Normally a week in between might give it a bit of relaxation, but it is what it is. But anyway, on to, that was Pep's presser. On to your thoughts. I'll come to you first then, Chris. What are your thoughts on this weekend's or tomorrow night's game? It's an 8 o'clock kickoff
Yeah.
6 o'clock one night and then bloody 8 o'clock the next. It's a nightmare. But what are your thoughts, overall thoughts, without lineups and things like that?
Yeah, I think, Andy, it's going to be a tough game. I watched Fulham against Liverpool the other day, and they thoroughly deserved their win. I know Liverpool aren't in any great shakes at the minute, but still going to Anfield and getting which was a pretty convincing win, really, is good. And I think, they've had some good results behind them. They've struggled a little bit against the top six, though, so we'll see how we get on there. Yeah, so I'm expecting.
Sorry, I had to put that out before I move down and go to the next one. Go on.
So yeah, I think I think it could be a tough game. I expect us to win, if I'm honest, but I don't expect an easy game.
Kurt?
I haven't really. Fulham are probably the team I've watched the least in the Premier League, just because obviously I don't really watch Championship football too much, and that's where they've been a lot recently. I've been impressed. Obviously, it's weird to see a relegation side you so heavily rely on loans as they're doing, because normally loan players aren't going to be there next season. So why would you want them in a relegation scrap? But they brought in Areola from PSG, I think it was, and Loftus-Cheek, and those two players have really obviously improved them. As Chris mentioned earlier in the stat pack, that Fulham obviously concede a lot less goals, and that's obviously down to the goalkeeping change. And I think probably everyone can agree here that Loftus-Cheek has vastly improved their midfield. I'm expecting a difficult game, like Chris also mentioned with the stats. They're a tough side to break down, and they're a side that are motivated, and they've had good results recently. So they're not going to be a pushover. But in terms of like the tactical side, I don't really watch them too much. I think they play like a 4-2-3-1, right, with one off the top. So it'll be a tough game, but I think City should be able to get through this pretty comfortably.
Alan?
I think it's going to be a really tough game, to be honest with you. They've come from nowhere to can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm only joking.
Don't start. I've got enough with Ross texting me and putting a message in there. Yeah. So, no, I think it'll be a really tough game. They've come from nowhere now, and I think Newcastle are favourites to go down in my eyes. I think Fulham, the way they're playing, could get out of this. So I'm going to kill him. I am going to kill him.
Go on, mate. You carry on. I'll ignore it for a while.
Ross, I thought you were going out this morning. Yeah, go out. Yeah. Anyway, no, I think it'll be a really tough game. I think and to be fair, the manager plays good football. I think Newcastle are favourites now to go down, not Fulham. The way things are going, I think they've done quite well recently, and I don't think it's going to be an easy task at all. It's tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock my time when we play, so a better time for us rather than 3:30 a.m., which it was for the derby. So it'd be interesting to see what happens. We need to win. It's a must-win game.
Yeah, it is. I mean, looking at the table, Fulham are 18th, played 28, on 26 points. Last 5 games have been a win, a draw, a win, a loss, a draw, a win, a draw. So a little bit sort of inconsistent, which you'd expect from somebody 18. But if you look at it overall, if we look at the goals for, they've 33. Goals for were 22 against 33, minus 11 goal difference, which is considerably better than the bottom two of West Brom and Sheffield United. But they are... they're on 26 points, and they've got Brighton and Newcastle ahead of them, who have both played a game less as well. So it's a really important game for them tomorrow. And I agree. I don't think it's going to be an easy game, but I do expect us to win, which leads us on to the lineup. So I'm going to come, as usual, to write them down. I think we all agreed. Give us a nod, Alan. Eddie in net. Yeah, okay. Eddie in net. Right, going on to our fullbacks. We know we're going to play 4 at the back, so I'm going to go on to fullbacks. Kurt?
Cancelo and Mendy.
Interesting. Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to kill him. I'm going to kill him. He's just sent me a text of Del Boy next to a blow up doll. I'm going to kill him.
Ronnie actually says, Ross, only us of a certain age know about the being up. There you go. Yeah, Chris, who are your fullbacks?
Complete opposite. Walker and Zinchenko.
Oh, interesting. So you're going for Walker and Zinchenko. Okay. This one's Kurt's. Alan?
I'm going to go for Walker Cancelo. Cancelo being on the left.
Okay. So we've got Kurt with Cancelo and Mendy.
Yeah.
And we've got Chris with Walker and Zinchenko. And we've got Alan with Walker and Cancelo. Let me have a look. What did I put? I'll have to go back now. I went with Kurt, Cancelo and Mendy. That was.
He needs games.
Yeah, that was my point on Mendy. And I think, Chris, did you not say that Cancelo and Mendy played in the last game?
Mendy came on, didn't he?
I think you said
he was talking about the last game versus Fulham.
The last game
yes,
versus Fulham.
yeah. Mendy played last. Yeah,
it was Cancelo and Mendy. That was interesting. I didn't know that, but okay. Are we taking it? Are we all going for the delicious as the back two, or do you think it's going to be different? Kurt, you're going something different. Go on, then. Give me yours.
Stones and Laporte.
Okay, so you think Laporte's going to rotate again, and this time Diaz is going to be the one that's rested, and Stones obviously comes back in, and Laporte needs more games. Chris?
Yeah, delicious for me.
Okay, you're going delicious. Alan?
Laporte, Diaz.
You're going different, so you're going Laporte and Diaz, and you don't think Stones is going to play?
I think he'll play. I think he'll play in the Champions League.
Oh, interesting. I think I went for the delicious. Yeah, I went for delicious, which is quite interesting. Ronnie says Mendy needs games so we can sell him.
I completely agree.
Mendy needs to go. Bye, Mendy. Linny says Stones Laporte for a change. So he's going with Alan. He agrees with Alan on that one. Okay. So a real mixture there. Let's move on to our holding midfielder.
Who was yours? Who was yours?
Mine was, It was,
you went delicious.
I went for delicious.
Okay.
Yeah. But holding midfielder then, Kurt.
Rodri.
Okay.
Nice and quick.
All right, Chris.
Yeah, to keep in the theme of tonight's vlog.
Different.
Rodders.
Rodders.
Rodders, yeah.
Put a pony in the pocket.
Yeah, that's the plonker. That's the plonker.
That's the plonker. Okay. Rodney, who are you going for?
The plonker. He's now got a new name.
Right. Well, I went for Roger as well, so that's a full house. Finally, we got one. We've agreed on something. Okay, your midfield two with him, Kurt.
I went KDB and Bernardo.
KDB and Bernardo. Chris?
I have really struggled with the rest of the team. I'm going to be honest. I've gone for Gundogan and Bernardo.
Ooh.
What was that?
Who's typing? It's
me, mate.
So you're going
that.
Bernardo and Gundogan then? Interesting. Alan?
Bernardo, Gundogan as well.
Oh, so you're going the same as Chris?
Yeah.
Interesting. I think I went for Bernardo. For Gundogan and KDB, yeah, I did. I went the same as nobody. No, I went Gundogan and KDB, the standard one. So there you go. So we're all different. Well, we're all different apart from Chris and Alan agree on that one. What does everyone else think? Lassiel Blur says Bernardo and Gundogan. They agree with you. One says Plodri, KDB and Gundogan. Gunny and KDB says Linny. Plodry. There you go. So we'll wait and see. On to, this is going to be interesting, Kurt. Your front three.
Sterling on the left, Foden as the false, and Mahrez on the right.
Ooh, that is interesting. Chris.
First time ever, I'm picking Mahrez to start on the right-hand side.
Chris, talk to me.
Good man. Let's go.
Left-hand side, I'm going to Phil, and I want to see Sergio start tomorrow.
Ooh, interesting. Let's see. We've got Gundogan and KDB says Charlie. Sean says, best thing on TV, you guys. I just sit here chuckling. Thank you. Sam Marty says Aguero has to start. Lassiel Blur says Sterling, Mahrez, and Gabby. Martin thinks Foden, Jesus, and Sterling. CM City says Mahrez, Bernardo, and Aguero. So clearly he's gone a bit different in his midfield. Foden, Sergio, Mahrez. Sterling, Foden, and Mahrez, which is I think what was what. Foden, Sterling, Mahrez is what, Kurt, that was you, wasn't it? Went for that one.
Yep.
Mahrez, Foden, and Aguero. So we're everyone's having a good old bit of difference tonight. Okay. So we've got Kurt with Mahrez, Foden, Sterling. We've got Chris with Mahrez, Sergio, and Foden. Alan?
Mahrez, Sergio, and Foden.
Oh, so you're agreeing with Chris?
Yeah, I think Sergio's going to get a game tomorrow.
I'd like him to.
Yeah,
we all would like it. He needs to be playing.
Yeah.
Well,
he needs to be playing.
You'll be surprised. Just looking. Is there a difference? Yeah, I've gone different. So I went for Mahrez, Sergio, and Sterling, and Foden on the bench. For me. So there you go. As you can see, that's what it's like trying to pick a team. Ryan Corazon, hello. How are you, mate? Lassiel Blur, Foden and KDB are going to be rested for Tuesday. Possibly. Ross says Estelle, Lindy, and Dirty Baz.
Hang on, Andy. Lucy, if you're watching this with Ross, take him shopping, please.
Yeah, Alan would love that. Stephen Dempsey says, just come on. My top three, Sterling, Kun, and Torres, he thinks. So there's another different one. Martin says, Mahrez is playing excellent, so Pep will rest him. Yeah, probably. Please, no Sterling. Come on. What about Estelle and Lindy? There you go. Foden, Sterling, and Kun. Sterling starts on Tuesday, said Mingy one. Yeah, possibly, quite possibly. But there you go. So Kurt's lineup is Eddie, Cancelo, Stones, Laporte, Mendy, Rodri, KDB, Bernardo, Mahrez, Foden, and Sterling. Chris went for Eddie, Walker, Delicious, Enko, Rodri, Bernardo, and Gundogan. Mahrez, yeah, he did actually say Mahrez. Sergio and Phil Foden. Alan went for Eddie, Walker, Delicious. Stones and Laporte, Cancelo, Rodri, Bernardo, Gundogan, Mahrez, Aguero, Foden. And for what it's worth, I'm pointless listening to what my 11 is. But it's Eddie, Cancelo, Delicious, and Mendy, Rodri, KDB, Gundogan, Mahrez, Sergio, and Raheem Sterling. So there you go. It's going to be interesting. On to, finally, very quickly, your score predictions then. So we'll start with Kurt. Let me just get to the page so I can write your score predictions down like I always do. Kurt, what's your score prediction?
I'm going for a 2-0. Not easy, but a comfortable one.
Okay, 2-0 City. And don't forget, you can give us your scores in the comments as well. What's your score for tomorrow?
2-0's mine as well, Andy.
You're going 2-0. Okay. Alan?
I'm going. I've had a bet at Bet Fair. I've 3-1. and 1-1 at half-time.
Oh, Alan's even calling 1-1. Well, I'll write that one down. I was really stuck with this one. I didn't know whether to go for a 4-0 or to go for a 1-0. I was like one of those games after the other night. It's like,
yeah.
I'll stick with my first score. I'll stick with my first gut instinct. 4-0 City for me tomorrow. I think it's back to clean sheet days for me, but I do think it possibly might be a really difficult game. And maybe, even if Pep says it's one game at a time, maybe he's got a little bit of an eye on who might play just to ensure that we go through in the Champions League. Maybe, I guess we'll see. Let's just see anybody pull up some scores just before we move on. Ketch reckons it's going to be 4-0 City, so he agrees with me. John Grogan thinks it's going to be 3-1, so does Martin. Charlie thinks it's going to be 2-0 to City. Linny says 2-0 City. Simon says 2-0. Common score this one so far, 2-0. Miggy one thinks 3-1. That's common as well. +2 City. Ronnie thinks it's going to be 3-1. Martin says, Alan, what's the goal scorers in the minutes scored, Alan?
What's the lottery numbers for next week, mate? Let me know.
I'll have them for tomorrow night. 4-3 says Sammy. Wow. Ross, Fulham 0-3, Trotters Independent Trading. Ryan thinks it's going to be 2-0 and very boring. 2-0 to City, 2-1 to City, says CM. So there you go. Everyone's got an opinion. But overall, there, looking at it, the most common ones were 3-1 and 2-0, which let me just see. Kurt said 2-0. Chris said 2-0. Alan said 3-1. So you're all agreeing with them two. And only one person went for my score. And it's probably best you don't go for my score, which Kex O'Neill, because I never get it right. 4-1 says Munir. There you go. Right, on to the next question. Which is Alan's question. And then what we'll do is we'll have a very quick break. And then we'll move on to the final three questions, plus your question, which is yet to be chosen. And that is over to Alan about clean sheets. So, Alan, your question, mate.
What has happened to clean sheet City? In the last 4 games, we've conceded goals against West Ham, Wolves, Man United and Southampton. What has gone wrong in the last 4 games? Because the last 4 games we've played in the league, I don't think we've been as fluent as normal, and we certainly haven't been as solid as normal. What, in your opinions, has gone wrong with our back 4 and the way we defend as a team? We'll start with Chris.
Well, yeah, I think you're right. I don't think we have been as fluent. I don't think we've had the same rhythm that we had in January and February. It's sort of, I don't know what that's down to, whether we've had 4 home games and we've sort of thought we've done all that travelling, now we can rest on our laurels a bit. I hope it isn't that. But I do think that West Ham, Wolves, Southampton and United at times in the games had really good spells against us. And I think West Ham were very, very unlucky not to get a point there, a free header at the end. I think it's Diop at the back for them. They really should have scored that header right at the end of the game. I thought Southampton started out really well against us the other night, and how the score was 3-1 at half-time, I was a little bit bemused by, even though they got the softest of penalties, but maybe we'll get onto that sort of stuff in a minute.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of rotation going on, Alan. I think, when Laporte was injured, we sort of stuck with that Stones and Diaz partnership, and there's no doubting that this season that's been our best centre-back pairing. It also coincides with Kevin De Bruyne coming back in the team. He's not up to pace, I don't think, at the minute, and he's given a hell of a lot of balls away as well, which we hadn't been doing, and playing with a very fit team who are all in good form, and Kevin's not hit that form yet. So I think there's a little bit of that as well. But then, I think I've counted, we've played 20 games so far in 2021. So, you're going to go through peaks and troughs. That's just the nature of football. I think fatigue might have set in a little bit. In a long season, that's the way it goes. And, we're competing for every trophy. So, it's not like he's resting the whole 11 for like cup games and stuff like that. So yeah, for me, the answer is get Stones and Diaz playing at centre back as much as possible. And Pep said that he's going to rotate less, hasn't he? So we'll see. And to play the right wingers with the right fullbacks, depending on who we're playing.
I think you're right about that last comment. Against United, I disagreed with Walker not playing, and I certainly disagree with Bernardo not even taking part in the game. I think they were two crucial players that I would have been first on the team sheet, especially against United's defenders, attackers, because they're so quick. And Cancelo had an absolute nightmare without Bernardo covering for him. I think everyone could see that during the game, and I think that was a big mistake by Pep who played. But you're right, Southampton game the other night, I was sat in the pub in the Imperial, and I must admit the first 35 minutes I thought Southampton were the better side by a long way. And when we went in 3-1, I was like, how the hell are we 3-1 in front? We should be behind. I thought Southampton were far better than us in the first half. Second half, we played back to what we can play like. But it's concerning because as a team, they're not defending anywhere near as good as they were 6 weeks ago. Nowhere near. Kurt, what do you think?
Well, I think there's 3 points to it. One is the first point, which is the most obvious one, is consistency is bred, but stability is bred by consistency. Consistency in the lineup, consistency in the people playing, consistency in the system that we play. We've seen that we've gone a long period of our winning streak was where we were playing primarily like 3 at the back, high wingers wide, and one of our fullbacks coming inside. What we've seen over the last 5 games since Kevin De Bruyne has come back in the team, we've gone back to our fullbacks being high and wide, and our wingers being more inside, which has caused us 2 problems. One, when we lose the ball in transition, we're in worse position defensively because we have less defenders in position already. And 2, when you have Kevin De Bruyne in the team, he's going to try and make killer passes more often than any other player in our team. And when you do that, you're going to have a higher percentage of passes that don't succeed. And obviously, when you don't succeed in a pass, there's turnover of possession, which leads to chances for the opposition team. So I think, like I said, the selection of the back 4, the chopping and changing constantly affects us. And Kevin De Bruyne being in the team affects the system that we play quite evidently. So I think they're the 2 main reasons. And I think the third one is, mate, the teams that we've played against have had good spells and scored with those opportunities that they had. And you just got to give credit. For example, like you said in the Southampton game, I think they were well in front in the first half, well in front. West Ham, I think we were lucky to pick up even a point. I think we were lucky to pick up a point, mate. I think if we're being real, they deserved all 3 points, if I'm being completely honest with it. And United, we picked the wrong setup and system to play against them. We played 3 people on the right-hand side that don't have the defensive capabilities. We had Mahrez, KDB and Cancelo all on one side with no one to cover but Rodri, which is a mistake in my opinion. So I think that, like I said, for the previous points, I think they're the main reasons why we're seeing the clean sheets fall away.
Andy, what do you think?
I was just, while you were mentioning the question to Chris, I brought up the last 6 games for City. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, the last 6 games. I was writing down who was our defensive lineup. There was only one time where Cancelo's played on the right. Stones has played twice. Diaz has played 4 times. Zinchenko's played twice. Cancelo's played on the left twice. Laporte has played twice on the left. And Walker's played 3 times. Now, if you look at the lineups, if we go all the way back, and these are in no particular order, but if we go back to the United game, like I said, I just brought these up and I was pulling them randomly. For the United game, we had Cancelo, Stones, Diaz, and Zinchenko, with Rodri and Gundogan ahead of them. For the Wolves game, we had Walker, Diaz, Laporte, Cancelo, with Rodri, De Bruyne, and Bernardo Silva. For the West Ham game, we had Walker, Stones, Diaz, Zinchenko, with Fernandinho, Gundogan, and De Bruyne ahead of him. For the Borussia Mönchengladbach game, we had Walker, Diaz, Laporte and Cancelo, with Rodri and Gundogan ahead of them. For the Arsenal game, we had Cancelo, Stones, Diaz, Zinchenko, with Fernandinho, Gundogan and De Bruyne. And the Everton game, we had Walker, Diaz, Laporte, Cancelo, with Rodri, Foden and Bernardo Silva. So it's really hard to pick out a reason why, considering that we have rotated even during those times prior to the. We have to sometimes put into perspective. We got beat by United. It was a bad performance. It was a bad all-round performance. Not many players were great that day. But let's say if it was a win, we'd still be we'd still be raving about the way that we performed. I think it's the fact that we've just conceded a few sloppy goals of late. But looking at it, I actually thought, we've been pretty consistent with our back four. But actually looking at it, we haven't.
No, we haven't.
It's been the centre-back pairings have been, the centre-backs for those last 6 games, the centre-back pairings have been Diaz has played 4 times, Stones has played twice, Laporte's played twice. So it's even been rotated between Stones and Laporte with Diaz, but then Zinchenko and Cancelo Cancelo swapped up played more on the left than on the right. Zinchenko's played more than Mendy, and Walker's played 3 times. Mute, Alan. And Walker's played 3 times on the right compared to Cancelo once on the right.
Can I just interject quickly, Andy?
Yeah.
I was looking, because obviously I made the comment a few weeks ago about starting lineups, selection things, and I looked just based off minutes played of like everyone in the squad. I'll give you the back 5, so the goalie and the back 4 in terms of most minute played, and
I've got them here right in front of me.
It's Walker, Diaz, Stones, and Cancelo, and I think everyone will probably agree that that's our best back 4.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue with that. I mean, look at the back 4. Well, obviously you've got Diaz, apparently according to standard stats, and this is Premier League games. Diaz has got 2,319 minutes. Cancelo's got 1,857. Kyle Walker's got 1,586. John Stones 1,530. Zinchenko has got 1,083. Laporte 939, going down to Mendy with 514 and Nathan Ake with 420. So I'm with you, Kurt, on that. You look at it, I think that's the best back 4 for me. Walker right, Stones and Diaz and Cancelo on the left. But Zinchenko has done a good job.
Yeah, I disagree. I prefer. Sorry, I prefer Zinchenko playing on the left-hand side than anyone else.
And this is the thing, isn't it? It's in. The short answer to your question is, Alan, I've no idea why, because I can't believe it's lineup. Because the lineup the last 6 games have been rotated constantly.
Spinning that, you seem to forgot one person who's now fit to come back in as left fullback, Nathan Ake.
But we haven't seen him. We haven't seen him, have we? That's the thing. So it's not to the question was, why have we suddenly lost this thing? Ake's not been there when that's been occurring, has it? I have no idea. That's my honest opinion, because I thought maybe the goals we conceded might have been.
We deserved to concede them, mate.
Yeah.
On the balance of play of the games we played, we deserved to concede against West Ham. We deserved to concede against Southampton. We deserved to concede against United. That's just the reality of football.
Although I would say on the Southampton game, as well as they played, they got a very, very soft penalty.
They did.
And the other goal was from Bernardo doing God knows what he was doing.
Yeah, but they had other chances in the game that they didn't take. They had the Redmond chance that he didn't take. They had, was it Gineppo chance, the header?
Yeah. Well, what I'm saying is their goals, they got...
No, I understand that, but if you would have watched the first half, you couldn't say that Southampton were unlucky or thingy to not be get a goal against us. Is the point I'm making in terms of the clean sheets, right? That's the point I'm getting at. Really, is Like, if we look at the game in isolation, every one of those games, I felt like we deserved to concede. They created chances. They played good football. It wasn't like it was just they hoofed it up. We conceded one chance. They scored one goal like we've seen in previous seasons. They had consistent spells in the games where they were on top.
Well, I can't even Zinchenko's been in the last few games.
Well, he's hardly played, has he? So that's a load of crap. Sorry, Steve, but it is, and he's been pretty consistent when he's played. You know, he's not very.
I think it's been a seven.
The problem with Zinchenko is, I think personally, when you pick Zinchenko, you can't have Cancelo on the other side. That's just my personal view. So if you play Zinchenko, you have to play Walker. Yeah. And if you play Cancelo on the right, you have to play Laporte or Ake or someone like that on the left. Every time Zinchenko and Cancelo play in the game together, it leaves so much space.
I agree with that. Totally agree with that comment, Kurt. But the system we play, Ake moves into a back three, Martin. Maybe we do. Southampton were better first half for me. Without a doubt, I thought Southampton were excellent first half. Very, very good. But I thought second half we were the better team and deserved to win. Leonard, Steve said nobody plays it back and side to side as much as Zinchenko. I don't know about that. I think he plays quite a number of progressive passes. Personally, nice. Good.
I think Stephen Dempster, you've got to also take into consideration most of the time when Cancelo plays on the left, Sterling is in front of him, and Sterling always gets doubled up. So is he going to play a ball into a man with two men on him, or is he going to rotate the cycle possession and play it to the other side of the pitch?
Yeah,
I think you've got to take that into consideration as well, mate.
Yeah, and that is what Pep does very well, doesn't he? He makes sure one winger is isolated on his own. That's the out ball, that's the switch ball, that's to draw everyone across the pitch. That might mean on one side it could be Sterling with two players on him. Or if it's all over on the right, it could be Mahrez has got two players on him, and then the likes of Zinchenko. What did we see? The other night? That ball from Diaz to Zinchenko,
ghosting into space. Yeah.
Because Mahrez was having such a good game, he was dragging everybody over to him. Zinchenko just ghosted into the edge of that area. Diaz saw him, played a gorgeous ball over the top. First time ball in the box. And that's the way we play. It's not just always one side. It's about dragging them around. That's what Pep likes to do. He likes to force it and then quickly move balls around. But it's all about opinions. But as for that, Alan, I don't know. What's your thought, Alan?
Well, I just think the solution for the next 5 games, we've got to keep our centre halves, the same centre halves if we can, but obviously as long as they don't get injured, the same.
Do you think Pep will do that?
I think he needs to, because we need to win. In my opinion, we need to win 5 games. All right, and I'd like to win the next 5 league games on the bounce. I think if he keeps the same back 4, we've won the league. It's dead simple. And I think he's got to aim for that. Problem is, you've got the FA Cup, which is going to swap players. That's definite. Ake's probably going to get a game. I would think, or Mendy in that left full back, or Ake could play centre half. I think he's going to mess about with the team in the FA Cup. And me and Chris discussed it last night when I spoke to him. You know, at the end of the day, everyone's who the fringe players is going to play in the FA Cup. I'm convinced of it. But as long as the next 5 league games he plays the same back 4 and plays, then I want to see Bernardo play in every game, because I think he's the link between everything at the moment. I really do.
I didn't think Bernardo was that good the other night. I'll be honest with you. I didn't think.
He played on the left hand side, and that's not right. He's not right for him to play on the left hand side. But I must admit, his work rate and his grafting, going up and down, is brilliant.
Well, the thing I always ask with these questions is when people say he needs to be playing every game, is okay. Who's going to drop out?
Well, at the moment, I'll be honest with you, Andy. This was possibly one of my questions. At the moment, KDB's not playing brilliant at the moment.
Scored 2 goals the other night.
Oh, mate, he didn't play that well, and you know he
scored 2 goals the other night.
I know.
Alan.
How many times have we said Harry Kane had a shit game but scored 2 goals?
I know.
How many times have we had Sergio? He was poor tonight, but scored 2 goals. And
Kevin's slowly.
This is the problem.
the thing is, Alan, with that, mate, is there's 4 or 5 players that are first name on the team sheet, and everyone else is dependent on who we're playing. And we all know who those 4 or 5 names are. It's obviously Eddie, Diaz, KDB, and Sterling. Those guys go nowhere. If they're fit, they play, and everyone else fits in around them. So that's just the reality of it. Everyone else is going to rotate, mate.
Kurt, do you think Sterling's been playing well last 4 games? He's played.
I don't think so, but I think he's been absolutely doubled and tripled up on every single game.
Yeah.
I'm with Kurt. I'm one of those that, Sterling does so much off the ball and creates so much danger for the opposition and creates so much space for our other players. I think Pep looks at it not as you didn't score or assist today. I think he looks at it going, and the bigger picture of the game play.
Yeah.
You have created so much space.
He creates so much space for Mahrez on the other side.
Does.
It's unbelievable.
He does.
People don't have. I get really actually animated about it because it's one of the only things that really bothers me. Because I'll have a go at Sterling when he misses 3 yards out, but the reality is there's not a single player in the Premier League that gets into as many good positions as Sterling. Fact, it's just not. And the fact that he gets 0 credit for it just bothers me so much.
Yeah,
I agree wholeheartedly what you're saying on that with Raz. But I think Foden's not had enough game time recently. That's my problem. I think we look like a better football team when Foden plays.
I agree with you.
I get
why do you think, Chris, that is? Why
because
he's Pep saving him for some bigger games coming up.
Well, when he plays on the left-hand side, Foden, he gives balance to the side because he's got a left foot. Sterling hasn't got a left foot, so there's no balance. The team's not balanced.
That's why I have Foden as my false 9.
But hold on a minute. It goes back to say Foden on the playing Sterling on the left is not balanced. It's not this, it's not that, the other. I think he scored 31 goals last season from 99% of the time on the left.
And he missed a sitter against Leon and against United last week.
Yeah, no.
So an open net.
Alan, Harry Maguire missed an open net.
I know what
yard last night. Sergio Aguero missed open nets. Kevin De Bruyne missed open net. They've all missed open nets. It's like it's one of those. You've got to be in there to score, and there are going to be occasions. Is he frustrating as a player? Technically finishing? Yeah, of course he is. Absolutely. But can you imagine if he was a brilliant finisher? If he could score 31 goals and he's shit. He'd be 65 goals a season if he was a Erling Haaland, he was a Mbappe or an Aguero. And that's how, I guarantee you, in a season, he will get in more goal-scoring opportunities, positions than Sergio Aguero would.
100%.
I guarantee you.
That's why he scores so many goals and he can't finish.
Exactly.
You have to put yourself in that position to be able to.
Exactly.
The thing is, I also want to say with Sterling on the left, Sterling on the left operates best when the person at centre forward can drift into the left position, be it Bernardo playing as a false 9, Foden playing as a false 9, or Gabby Jesus.
Yeah, Gabby does
you'll find
quite well.
If Sergio is playing, Sterling on the left doesn't work.
Yeah, I agree.
Which is what a lot of people's things with Sterling doesn't work on the left is because Sergio was playing every game, and Sergio doesn't occupy the channel space like a false 9 or a Gabby would. So when you have Sergio in the team, you need to have Raheem on the right, which is a lot of people's. I think they were conflating the points about Sterling can't play on the left. Sterling can't play on the left if he doesn't have someone to operate the space on the left when he wants to come inside. I think that's a very big distinction to make.
I think that's absolutely spot on because you see when Gabby plays, he'll easily drift and swap sides. When Sterling and Aguero play, how often do you see Aguero as the left winger and Sterling inside? Just doesn't happen. But when Gabby plays or Bernardo plays as a false 9 or Kevin or somebody else plays as a false 9, they'll swap and they'll rotate. And that confuses defenders because it's like, hold on a minute, who's coming here? Where's he going? Is he going to back out?
It goes back to the point I made 5 minutes ago, mate. With the 4 names on the team sheet every week, you select around them. So if Sterling's playing and you're deciding to play him on the left, the centre forward is already basically decided or at least broken down to a slimmer selection options, right? I think it just comes down to that.
Yeah,
but I know we drifted a bit off from the original point.
But back to the original point. Give me one summing up answer, Chris. Why have we suddenly conceded?
I think it's because we've change things around so much. But I think that it boils down to rotation, and Pep's rotating either to keep players fresh, or he's rotating to keep players happy. And I mean Laporte, because Laporte is without a shadow of doubt a fantastic central defender, and it would be wrong of him to be sat on the bench all season long. And with this amount of games, that's the way it is, isn't it? That's just the way it is. I think. And like I said initially, every season there's peaks and troughs for every team, no matter who you are, where you are. And I just think that we've let in a few sloppy goals this last run. Yet I don't think we're playing quite as well. I think there is the rhythm of the team's been lost a little bit with the reintroduction of Kevin.
Yeah.
But if we want the clean sheets again, it's pretty simple, delicious.
Yeah.
Kurt, one summing up on that question.
Pretty much just going to echo Chris. Like, other than when we have KDB in the team, we're just going to lose the ball a lot more. So we need to be better defensively in terms of transition.
Alan, go on. What's your answer?
Delicious is the number one thing. I disagree about Zinni. I think for 1.7 million, he's a fabulous footballer. Comes in and does a job wherever he's asked. I think people that have a go at him, need to have a hard look at themselves. At 1.7 million, my God, he does. He comes on and does a job for us every single time. He is going to make mistakes. That's fact. But for the amount of money we paid for him, you can't fault him, to be honest with you. I just think we need to be more solid as a team, even when KDB's in it. Keep things more simple, move the ball quicker. That's all it is for me. I think we've been moving the ball very slowly, especially from the start of games in the last 4 games.
Yeah,
that is a key thing for me.
Yeah, going back to what I said earlier, for me, the rotation, I was surprised about how much rotation there's been throughout that back four. Players like popping over to the left and Walker playing more games than Cancelo on the right. Diaz and Stones support, Cancelo playing on the left, Zinchenko's playing. And I think Pep won that. I think it's pie in the sky, and to think that he's going to stick with if we believe Walker, Stones, Diaz, Cancelo is going to play in the next 5 games, and
it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. It just simply isn't. He won't, because he's got to reintegrate Ake back into this team as well.
Yeah, he has to. Yeah.
I mean, when that will happen, I don't know. It could be the FA Cup. It could be whenever. It could be tomorrow. You never know with him. We've got Mendy that he might want to put, as people say, in the shop window and things like that. And he's got to keep Laporte happy as well, because Laporte is a wonderful, wonderful player, and I think we forget that sometimes. Because Delicious have been so good. Laporte's been excellent. He really has. And he's still a very, very good player. So I can't see anything changing, to be honest with you. And what that's down to, I have no idea. Did you see, out of interest, I sent you the link before, and you might have watched it before. I only came across it before, and I've only had time today to watch it. I saw it last week and thought, I must watch that, and remembered it today. Was the Rio Ferdinand when he interviewed Pep
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it at the beginning of the week.
It's really
came out.
Really interesting interview with Pep. A couple of points on there about the differences between Bayern and Barca and how he feels about Manchester and Man City. Very, very complimentary, and basically said, I am so settled now and happy where I am, hence why I've signed the extended contract.
That's the biggest takeaway.
Oh, it's massive. Yeah. That was a huge...
How much he loved England, not just Manchester. He clearly had a big interest in English culture and everything about England. He obviously really, really enjoys his time here. He's obviously really happy with his family, and those are the things you want.
Yeah. Apart from the winter.
We don't like the winter here.
He don't like the winter. And he did say November, December, January, February. I don't like it. I like the sun. But if you haven't seen it, go over and watch it. It's on YouTube. It's Rio interviews Pep Guardiola, and he makes some really interesting comments on there. One of them talking about defensively with the likes of Cancelo. He does mention there when Rio says about the fact that he's moving Cancelo inside. He said, "Listen, I did it with Delph. I did it. I've done it with Zinchenko. It's nothing."
Yeah, he has.
Saying it's nothing new. I'm just switching making a few tweaks here and there, and that was what I needed to do after we drew against West Brom. I wasn't happy with that performance, and I've made some tweaks, and I've done this, that, and the other. So for me, I think we just have to expect more rotation at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But let's get back to your comments before we have a quick break and then move on to another few questions. Anybody notice anything that I should? There's been a big jump in questions. Mingy Wong said, Chris is the boss, don't mess about. There you go.
Just a lot of love for Chris in the comments, as always.
Right, there is Julio's there. Oh, he's giving him a hey, mate. Julio's on. John Foxy says, miss, sorry, typo. Chris is a club legend. Is it a sandwich?
Statue, Andy.
Sandwich.
I need a statue.
It's a sandwich. It's a sandwich, Chris. I think it's to keep them happy.
Short of a picnic.
Linny, you might be right. I mean, at the end of the day, it's got a lot of high-quality players on a lot of money, and it does have to keep them happy. And that's people might complain and say, "Well, hold on a minute. If they're not happy, let them go." The reason why I think Manchester City is so far advanced of any other club in the Premier League right now is because we've got a big squad of quality players. Now, if you want to keep that big squad of quality players, you have to play them.
And
you have to rotate.
Andy, the thing with that is all these other squads, they build their squad structure based on the fixtures they normally have. For example, Wolves. Yeah, Wolves have an active squad of about 18 players, right? And they expect to play once every 7 days. So they build their squad and systems accordingly. And having to play basically on the schedule of a top 4 team in all competitions like we do every year, we're used to it. And all these other teams aren't used to it. And that's why you're seeing it. And we're just reaping the rewards of having such a balanced squad.
Well, Ross thinks it's because there's no Kagul. Would take the opportunity to meet Chris again. What a smashing bloke. Oh, it's a smashing bloke here. He's a smashing fella. Yeah, we like you. We met Mingy Wong outside in Novotel, didn't we? Down at Wembley. I think Pep will want 2 centre forwards in the summer as Kun and Jesus will go. God, Stephen. My God. Come on, give us some more bad news.
He's a cheery fella.
He's a cheery bloke. Leonard Pep had to rotate because we're getting results now. Having a full squad, who will pick the best. Hashtag delicious update. Ross is owed £2.40. £2.64. What's that all about?
No, he's what's he going to eat? Copyrighted him.
Oh, right, okay. Oh, okay. No, he hasn't.
He has.
No, he hasn't. Has it copyrighted that? He can't.
Yeah.
There's no way he's got copyright on those ones. Did Pep once say, give me 10 midfielders any day? He did. He definitely did. What's Laporte done wrong? I don't think he's done anything wrong. Absolutely. I don't think he's done anything wrong. He's finding his feet for me. Ross says, yes, it's been said 11 times. I'll let a few go. Chris said, I said it once. Ross, are you buying anything that is delicious or way up? He's getting more money now. Oh, what's that? DJ Football Vids. There you go. When it comes to Laporte, it's not that he's bad. It's that Diaz and Stones are like bacon and eggs. Laporte is, but Diaz and Stones are good together. Yeah, maybe. Oh, what's going on here? Julio Castaneda said Sir Alan is also handsome, especially when he smiles. Oh, there you go, Alan. Oh, Chris, you've got a bit of competition there. He's a bit of a two-timer, isn't he?
He is a bit early over his turncoat, isn't he?
Anyone had their jab yet? Anyone had their jab yet? Mine's due, hopefully, in the next couple of weeks. But no, I haven't had mine yet. Mark Armstrong, Champions League pressure time from the media coming soon, probably. Ford is great at recruiting by midfielders and defenders, but I have doubts on recruiting forwards. And we'll wait till this summer. Evening all, says John Walters. Bet British Cycling will get none of the heat we get for doing nothing wrong, and their cheat sniffles had some food. Yeah, I mean, that was pretty frightening, the news that came out today. I'm sending the dolls round. I heard a rumour on the web that said Man City can get Joao Felix. Well, I did mention it to the lads, or to Chris, I think I mentioned it earlier today, that I've read a few things how true it is. But there were pretty strong rumours that Joao Felix is really in City sights, and so maybe it won't be an Erling Haaland this summer. It might be a Joao Felix this summer, and maybe an Erling Haaland next summer. Who knows? But anyway, we're going to take a quick break. I want to say thank you to everyone for all your comments. Don't go anywhere. This stays live. Just going to put a screenshot up. We're going to just go and have a quick toilet break, and we will be back in a few minutes' time. And we've got some really, really interesting questions coming up. Plus, these guys are going to choose the Man City Fan TV subscribers question of the evening. And there's a few on there. Plus, we'll look at today's poll. But stay where you are. We're not going anywhere. Hi guys, we're back, and we're back for the next part. So thank you for staying around. We'll bring the guys back in a second. Duke says, hi Kurt, Gladbach lost today, says Tyrone, 3-1 to Augsburg. Duke says, we are definitely going through. for the UEFA Champions League. Very confident there, mate. Julio's on. Not even City can screw up a 2-0 lead against Gladbach. Are you sure? I don't know. Andy Blue Moon says, hi, guys. Hope you're all safe and well. What do you think, guys, think about VAR poll for clubs to do? And do you think VAR should overrule refs more? Maybe it's something we might get into later, mate. Andy, nice haircut. Well, mate, it's not down to my lad. My lad did it tonight. It still needs a little bit of a trim at the back and sides, but he's done a decent job. Right, let's bring the guys back. Alan's back. So is Kurt, and so is Chris. Swapped around a little bit there, but anyway, thank you for coming back, everybody. We're on to the next question. This is from Chris about Phil Foden's penalty.
Yeah, so right, guys, I like to think that I'm a pretty rational person, but something's still bothering me about that Phil Foden penalty decision against Southampton. And I know we won the game 5-2. I feel like, for me anyway, that I've not been able to move on from it. So I want to ask you guys if you've been able to move on, or is this are you still asking questions about the integrity of the PGMOL? And we'll go to Kurt first.
Well, I'll start on the back end of that, the integrity of the PGMOL. There's not really much integrity there, is it? I think the only good thing in terms of what's come out of the incident is it's clearly got enough sort of stirred enough emotion in fans of all different clubs and just general annoyance at the rules and the implementations of them and VAR itself. So maybe at the end of the season, I know they had they're doing like a poll and stuff about talking to managers and all this. So hopefully some good comes of that. We need to get the rules sorted out and so VAR can actually be improved, I think. But in terms of the decision itself, it was absolutely disgusting. I didn't get to speak because I've been quite busy this week. It made me feel, like you said, it made me feel sick inside. It just made me angry. Because the thing is, we get so many bad decisions, but the problem is we win our games, so no one ever talks about them. You only talk about the bad decisions when the bad decisions are the main contributor to us not winning a game or losing a game. But because we always seem to overcome these things, we don't get talk about it much. But we have so many crap decisions against us all the time. And I just feel bad for Foden.
Pep said, didn't he, at the end of his interview, that we've had to win everything
ourselves. We've got nothing, mate. We've got
our endeavours. We get nothing. Now, I'm not going to say we don't get any decisions because that's not entirely true. But
holistically, incomparable. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, we get. You take the Martial penalty, and you take the penalty that Vestergaard got against. Was it Bednarek? Was it Vestergaard? Was it? Vestergaard. Got the penalty at Southampton. They were both really soft penalties. Now John Moss couldn't wait to put that whistle in his gob and blow it. Same with Anthony Taylor and the Martial one, and they're both really soft penalties. I think the United one, was a penalty. I don't think Southampton's was, if I'm honest with you. But this isn't something new. But I thought with the Phil Foden one, it was so blatant. And all right, John Moss might not have been able to see it. I don't know. He said he thought that he thought the keeper got the ball.
It's got nothing to do with that. They have VAR to check these things, mate.
Clear and obvious mistakes.
You cannot with any like honesty in your heart look at that incident on one replay and not see that it's clear contact. His foot slides about a foot. If you can't engineer that. It's not something that you can create. You can't run with the ball and have your foot, your trailing legs, like your leading leg, slide that way. You can do it with your trailing leg because it's not where the pressure is. You got the weight on your front foot, right? But his weight was on the foot that got taken away. Hence, he went down and he had to slide. It's just ridiculous. It's unbelievable. But what can you do?
Is it incompetence or is it?
I'm not going to say it's like colluding or any of that rubbish because I think Andy's spoken to a lot of people in the media and people that talk about it, and he said multiple times that no one actually thinks that's true. I think it's just really a case of it's just the problems with the rule changes over the past 3 or 5 years and VAR coming in and the way things are implemented. It's just crazy. There's 2 or 3 things that need to change in terms of how football is officiated in this country and around Europe. Is the first thing we need to do is have some sort of match report from the ref that's actually available to, because if they're not going to come out and do post-match interviews, which is fine, they don't have to come out and do that, whatever. But there needs to be some sort of posted report, match report of the game, because they obviously have to do a match report of the game, right? I think that should be published. And then you can actually look at the decisions and how the decisions will come to. And then you have records of those things that you can compile and then create databases to actually go through and be able to affect change in a positive way. And I think the second thing to do is just sort out the changing of the rules of offside and in-box action in terms of incidents regarding penalties, handballs, anything to do with incidents inside the box, because they need to be far more clear. That's for me.
Yeah.
Will they do these things is the real question. I don't think they will. Only time soon.
I think something has to change, if I'm honest with you, mate, because I think that there's enough of a groundswell of fans now who are absolutely sick.
It's not just fans, mate. It's pundits, everybody. Most people can't ignore the issue anymore. They have to talk about it. And the more things are talked about, the more pressure gets put on these organizations, the PGMOL, that they have to act. And they will at some point. It's just a case of when.
Alan?
I'll turn it around. As far as the referees are concerned, when penalties are given, if we talk about that incident with Foden first, if the referee doesn't see it and he thinks that the keeper's taking it away from him, that's fine. But obviously now things are being checked by VAR. Now, I think the fault is at the VAR side. Because if the VAR can't see that the goalkeeper's taken Foden out with his right foot, he's blind. And that's what really annoyed me more than anything. I can understand a referee not seeing things. If someone's in his way or is in the wrong position to actually see what's actually happening in an incident, then there's no excuse for a VAR to get it wrong. I'm sorry, but there isn't. And when they came back and said it wasn't a penalty, I must admit, I got up out my chair in the Imperial and I ran to the TV screen screaming and shouting. I couldn't believe he hadn't given it. I was very vocal.
That's no surprise.
Yeah, no, and Steve Barsley was calling it corrupt. They're fixing the league and all this. Now, this is what it creates. But, it's all right saying, have a go at the referee. Referees will make mistakes because they've got a split second to make it. Okay? So they are going to make mistakes. But there's no excuse for a VAR to make a mistake when the three looks at it from different angles. I'm sorry, but how can the VAR person, whoever was doing it, make those mistakes? It's ridiculous. It's absolutely, and not just that. Just let me finish. If the game was been 1-1 with a minute to go and that had happened, and we lost 2 points because of it, it would have been chaos. The penalty that they got wasn't a penalty. He dived. You could clearly see he dived. But it's happening, like Pep said, the Fulham handball, the Arsenal game. It goes on right through the season. And my argument is the VAR people are not making right decisions. Not necessarily the referees, but the referees not always in the position to see it in that split second. The VAR, there's no excuse for the VAR people to get it wrong. Zero excuse. And they are. That's the problem.
Well, this is the point. I mean, Pep brought up 2 points. The two other instances that happened over the last weekend. There was the Fulham goal that was disallowed, which was absolutely ridiculous. We brought that up last week. And then the Arsenal penalty that wasn't given when they played Burnley, the handball, which was, as the law stands, should have been a penalty. The law says that should have been a penalty. And yet the VAR ref decided to back the on-pitch ref. Now, this is the problem, I think, is that there's no hunger to challenge their peers.
Classic.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
no,
that is true.
Cafe Del Casual says no one holds refs to account. That's the problem.
And that is spot on, Andy. And you look at rugby union, you watch it, there'll be the internationals this weekend. There'll be decisions on tries, on scrums, whatever. And you can hear everything that's being said between the TMO and the referee on the pitch. And the referee on the pitch talks to his linesman about what's the right outcome for what they've seen on the. There's nothing like this in football. Is clandestine. It's
not going to come in, Chris. There's too much money, sponsors. all of that. Rugby is just a completely smaller game in comparison to football.
Yeah, it is a smaller game, but there's no transparency, is there? But
the problem comes is with money. Money dictates rules a lot of the times in these sports, right?
So then, is it incompetence?
They're not going to stick the mics because they don't want Neymar and all these sponsors effing and blinding and whoever else effing and blinding and the ref. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the referee, whatever the VAR guy has got at Stockley Park, there's no that interference. You should be able to hear what that guy is saying.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Otherwise, there isn't incompetence in my eyes. It's something far more sinister.
I think the frustration is people don't know what's happening and don't understand. If they knew how the decisions will come, they may not agree with it, but they at least have the thingy, and that's where we need to improve it. But how they implement that is the real big question, because I don't know. I saw
somebody put someone in the comments. I think it was Stephen again. I don't know if he was just on the wind-up saying that he didn't touch.
It was this Ross thing, when Ross says Kevin De Bruyne is rubbish and should be sold. And
right, okay.
It's a bit.
So, for me, this borders on sort of like an unconscious bias towards City because there are so many decisions that blatant things that we don't get, and soft penalties given against. I couldn't believe Laporte was pinged for that challenge on Vestergaard. I couldn't believe it. And then when I saw the replay of it, there's no doubting that his hand touches him. But there is absolutely no reason for Vestergaard to have flung himself backwards like he did, just the same as Mo Salah does in every single game. You know what I mean? So, it concerns me. But that Phil Foden one, it just will not go for some reason.
Oh, same, Chris, mate. I'm bothered about it to this day, mate. I'm going to be moaning about it for probably years, to be honest.
Andy, what's your thoughts, mate?
I think I said it the other night in the post-match. A lot of my stuff. I mean, I don't know. I have tried to watch it and listen to all sorts, everything from Talk Sports opinion to pundits to reading newspaper articles today on it and all sorts of stuff. I don't know. I mean, I don't think John Moss is a very good referee. I think he's poor. I don't think he's fit enough to keep up with the game. And that's nothing to do with the game the other night. I just don't think he's fit enough as a referee to keep up with the speed of the game today. I do think referees have a tough job. I must admit. I will. The one thing I will say is the speed of the game, and you're watching from the position John Moss was in, behind play, and Foden is here, and the angle that the keeper's coming across. You could see why he probably didn't see the touch. So we'll stick up in that respect. However, so he might not have blown, and this is the problem in this day and age, is it's so difficult now with VAR, because if he's thinking, well, I've got VAR, so if I've made it a clear and obvious error, VAR will pull it up, because I'm not so sure, because I'm sure when you look at it from the slow-mos that I posted on Twitter and everything else, and everyone's posted and things, Foden's foot comes out, and from the angle behind the goal, you go, Jesus Christ, it's a clear penalty all day long. Now, if you're behind the back of that in John Moss's position, looking at that, and Foden's foot, Foden's foot goes like that, and the way that Foden then, and this is the problem, tried to stay on his feet, John Moss is probably thinking he slipped. And he's trying to keep on his feet because it isn't a penalty. But I've got VAR to back it up. And if I've got it wrong, they will step in, because this is my problem. I can understand why referees get things wrong. Jesus Christ, I've refereed adult games, over 40s games, kids games, things like that. And if you've ever refereed games, you get things. I got things loads of times, and I think I thought I do a pretty good job at refereeing, but I got loads of things wrong, and so it is. And you're thinking that game moves at such pace. I can understand why referees get things wrong. I am empathetic to that. And from where John Moss was stood on this occasion, even though I think he's a poor referee, and I don't think he's fit for purpose for the Premier League, maybe Sunday League, maybe, but Premier League. I can see where he might have come from, thinking, I couldn't see the touch, and it looked like he slipped. And the fact that Foden, if Foden would have rolled over and shouted and screamed like Mo Salah does, like he's been shot dead, then he probably would have blew his whistle and then gone, VAR will overrule it if it wasn't a penalty. But the fact that Foden went to stay on his feet, he's probably thinking, I'll play on, because he might have slipped there. And the fact that he's trying to get on his feet. And VAR is the thing that's let the referee down, in my opinion, because they saw what we all saw immediately. They saw it. And for me, it's not John Moss, even though I don't like him. I don't think he's a very good referee. I think VAR massively let down not only John Moss, I think they let down City. I think they let down Phil Foden, for being honest. And I think they let down football and the Premier League. Because if you cannot see that is a penalty within a few seconds of a replay, which we all saw it, then there is something seriously wrong. And that can only be collusion, which Chris is intimating, might be going on, or just completely, as Pep says in his post-match press conference, unprofessionalism. And they're just poor at the job, really, really poor. And if you think that a referee can't look at that replay and go, a professional referee who's getting paid, is at Stockley Park, no pressure, no outside influences. There's a couple of them in there. If they cannot see that is a penalty, I've no idea. For me, it's total incompetence. Or it could be something more sinister.
Can I just ask a quick follow-up question on that? Does anyone think that, obviously after the incident, Phil tried to stay on his feet and we saw the ball get recycled and we had a little bit of action of play before the ball went out, right? Does anybody think that the action of play that they're playing for a minute extra is affecting the decision made? For example, if say Foden goes down and then whoever gets the ball on the left just boots it out, runs to the ref and goes, what the hell? Do you think that affects the decision at all, or am I just being mildly?
I think ask the same question without VAR. Ask yourself the same question, but there's
that's what I think sometimes, because
such thing with VAR.
All the players carried on, and it's almost like I feel like if just the players would have booted it out and all ran to the ref, I feel like the VAR's, it's more impetus on the VAR to have to check it properly. I just felt like that might have influenced it a little bit.
But the same thing is like if Phil Foden goes down.
Yeah.
I might be completely wrong.
And looks at the referee, John Moss, and goes, the chances are John Moss might have blown his whistle. And VAR might have looked at it and went, well, we're not going to overrule you because you blew your whistle. And this is my problem with VAR. I think there's not enough open and honest. Look, we're here to support you, but we're also here as VAR that if you make a mistake, because they keep telling us it's clear and obvious error. Well, that's standard phraseology when looking at incidents, isn't it? That's what everyone uses. Referees use it. Peter Walton, Keith Hackett, all of these ex-referees, Mark Halsey and all the others use this. It's there for clear and obvious errors. Well, sometimes to me, it feels like they're all a little bit, I don't want to overrule the referee. For me, if I'm open and honest and I was John Moss and I go, just talk to me, because he's got an earphone in, just talk to me.
Andy?
John Moss could say to VAR, from my angle, I couldn't see a touch. You let me know whether it was. Now, if the VAR went, yeah, John, he definitely took his foot, mate. It's a penalty. John Moss is going, brilliant. Thanks very much. Great job, VAR. Penalty. Would anybody in their right mind, whether it be, Southampton players or anybody, go, that John Moss is shit, isn't he? They go, John Moss is going, I couldn't see a touch from my side. I couldn't give it as a penalty because I couldn't see it. Now, he genuinely, possibly, couldn't have seen it. He might have thought Foden slipped because the way that he continued his run. So VAR is there to support the referee. But the problem at the moment, it seems like that Chris's comment, collusion of, I don't want to make the referee sound stupid. That's not the idea of VAR. The idea of VAR is to support the referee and to say, you might not have seen it, but I've seen it now because I've seen it from 10 different angles that you didn't get in a fraction of a second. It's bollocks. And this is the whole thing. It's absolute nonsense. It really is. Alan.
Andy, as a possible solution to this, why don't from next season onwards, if you can do it this season, why don't next season onwards we get rid of Stockley Park completely? Right? We have VAR. We have VAR. All right, and let the ref go to at least 4 screens, one behind each goal and one at the side, both on the sides as well. He gets to look at it 3 times, no more, and he makes a decision. That way, all the pressure's back on the referee to make a decision. If he did that, the fans would accept it better because it's him making the decision.
The problem being though, Alan, the problem being is who calls him to the monitor.
Well, they still have, if you want to call it a Stockley Park sort of thing, but they don't make decisions.
But they're not making decisions. That's the problem. It's that.
Well, the thing is.
Well, take the Phil Foden incident. Let's just. I mean, I think it's a possibility of an idea, but I'm saying take the Phil Foden incident for example. John Moss genuinely, and I don't know whether because this is the problem. We don't hear from referees. We don't know what's going on. John Moss genuinely thinks he's slipped. He's keeping on. He's running on. He's trying to do this. He's trying to do the other. So John Moss doesn't blow up. In that situation, live the other night, John Moss might have been thinking, well, if I've made a decision, VAR will just go, I think you might look at this. Well, right. So who in that situation, who changes the outcome?
The referee should change the outcome.
Yeah, but he can't do because he thinks Foden slipped and is continuing on his run. So I'm letting play go on. Oh, he missed it. He didn't score. So who then intervenes to go, John?
That scenario that I mentioned happens in the A-League, right? Where the referee and the fans accept, but they also do something else. They actually put on when the referee's watching the replays, the exact replay that he's watching is on the big screen as well.
Yeah, and I think we'd all agree. That the easiest way to do this is just show it on a screen, listen to listen to the interaction with Stockley Park. Everything's clear. There's no ambiguity. We all know what's going on. That will never happen. I don't think it'll ever happen. It will not.
Why do you think it won't?
Because I don't think it will. I mean, I listened to an interview with Simon Jordan yesterday talking about this very thing. He was talking about the Phil Foden thing and he was going, how ridiculous. But they were talking about how this is what should happen. Somebody said, Jim White said it should be, Boyce or somebody else. Travis Sinclair said it should. Everyone should listen to it. And he said it will never happen. But what they do need to do and what could happen is they might introduce a tier system whereby it might be that referees have to come out after a game and explain their decision. Or there might be a next day you hear the audio of the decision. That way, over maybe a season or two, it will get fans used to decisions being made, referees' interactions and interpretations, and how the language they use. Once the fans are comfortable with that, then you might get referees coming out giving interviews after the game. And once the fans are comfortable with that, what you might see next is this live interaction. He said, but I just think Stockley Park confuses everything. It's overcomplicated everything. I think the rules, obviously, personally, I think the rules, there are some of the rules that need changing because the shit. We know
offside one's one. Yeah.
At the end of the day, I think VAR is a good thing for getting decisions right or wrong. The laws are an arse. We know the laws are they need changing, they need simplifying. But it's there and it's not going away. So VAR is a good thing, but the human is introduced into the whole element. where humans, the old adage, rubbish in, rubbish out. If you're rubbish putting, the only thing you're going to get out is rubbish. Doesn't matter about technology. You know, you can program anything, a flight management system on an aircraft or whatever else. If you put rubbish in, you're only going to get rubbish out. So it's down to absolute training, consistency, simplification of the rules, making the rules simple. This offside rule is bollocks. It should just be clear daylight or boots or something simple. And the fact is, refs need to go through this whole training of VAR is there to support you and help you. Don't take it as a negative. And I'm sure many of the referees don't. I'm sure, but the problem being is you've got two different parties creating mayhem. And maybe your suggestion is the right one. But going back to Chris's question was, am I concerned about it? Yeah. And to move it on, Chris, I am definitely concerned about it after that incident the other night, because that was incompetency of the highest level. And that's what worries me more than anything. If it was a line for offside decision, it's open to interpretation, because it can never be 100% accurate, because you don't know when the ball moved and things. That the other night, I don't know one single person on the planet, even a United fan, Liverpool fan, any fan, who has gone, well, he got a touch on the ball, or, oh, it wasn't this. Every single person knows that was a clear and obvious penalty. And the question is, why is a professional referee who gets paid by the PGMOL and the Premier League turning around and not saying that's a penalty?
Yeah, I think my point on this
is beyond belief.
Yeah, I mean, and Ocean Rage just put it in here, is that Moss didn't go and check the monitor.
No, he didn't.
And I found it bizarre, because I don't think John Moss gave us anything all game. He gave them the softest penalty.
He did.
He billed us for every single 50-50. It was a foul to Southampton. And when a couple of occasions when they fouled our players, he just let play carry on. He gave us nothing. And that's where I get a little bit worried about the... Yeah. I'm not saying it's blatant bias, but I think there is an unconscious bias, and I think it's. I think I agree totally with you. I think he's a shocking referee.
He's a terrible ref.
But the guy in Stockley Park is Bobby Madden's worse, isn't it? Yeah. He needs sacking. He is incompetent or he's corrupt. Either means he is not fit for purpose. Yeah. And it's about time that whoever, Mike Riley, whoever, is in charge of these people, stop backing up each other and, doing all that stuff. Do your job. Be impartial and do your job. If you can't be impartial, F off.
Yeah, I mean, you just said that. I mean, total incompetence. That is like, for me, I mean, if this was, I mean, John Moss, as Bob said, I think he's a very poor referee anyway. I think he's unfit. Not fit for purpose for the Premier League. I just think he's unfit as a person, and I don't think he keeps up with play very well. Positioning sometimes is very a number of times, but it's the Andy Madley thing in VAR. You have got all the technology in the world, and even us as fans watching it on the TV, within seconds see a replay and go, "My Lord, how does he not give that to a man, to a woman, to a child?" What? I still don't know anybody who has come out going, well, it wasn't a penalty. Even opposition fans. So how the hell has he not overruled that? It beggars belief, but we don't know what has been said by Stockley Park, and this is the problem. We don't know. Now, if I dropped a bomb on a village and went, yeah, well, it's in some remote part of the world, and I did it by mistake. Hey, nobody was killed, but I dropped a £500,000 bomb on a village somewhere. I'd be sacked for doing it. I'd be sacked. A gross misconduct. These clowns. It's like nobody ever knows anything, and he'll be maybe kept out the limelight for a week, and then he'll be refereeing in 2 weeks' time, and he might do this game, and before you know it, the whole Foden thing will be forgotten about. It'll be in the past, and everyone will move on to the next dubious handball decision or something else. And I just think it's a very dangerous game when we have somebody making such an incompetent decision that
I'll tell you what, Andy.
PG, if the, you know what would appease everybody, and I'm sure most fans, even United and Liverpool fans, would look at that and go, Andy Madley, you're not fit for purpose, and you are removed from Premier League duties, full stop, and you can spend 2 years in the Championship and do whatever, and that is it, because and you're lucky to keep your job.
Yeah, exactly. Why should they suffer him? You know,
maybe.
If you're right, if you can't do your job, right, then go and find a job you can do, because the guy is a terrible decision in my eyes.
I'll tell you what, boys. It's a good job. It wasn't the last minute of the game, and it was one.
Which is the one thing. Which is the one big thing in it.
On that though, Chris, what you're saying, when we had Simon on last week, I remember him saying, wasn't it him who said something about 50% of all refs by the age of 18 give up the game as refs? Yeah. I think that we're seeing a clear issue is we're having all these, we've got a lot of old refs in our league, in all honesty. A lot of guys that are getting on. And where's the replacements coming from? You talk about, like, say, for example, if you got rid of every ref for these gross misconducts and terrible things, we'd end up having nobody to ref our games. Yeah, I think that's getting to a bit of a problem point in this country.
But the younger refs coming through have got a shaven head and go and headbutt players.
Again.
But this is the point. You know, as a footballer, you should idolise a Messi or a Ronaldo. These great footballers. Yeah. If you're a referee, you should idolise Chiellini and go and see how he refereed games.
Of course, everyone will agree he's the greatest.
You know, so. I'm not saying you can be as good as Chiellini, but don't be this sort of, you know, I'm not going to say that was a penalty. Because there's another thing. When you actually see that blown up and do what they do in the cricket, whether the ball's gone into the hands or not, and they put that zoomer thing on, it is so clear that he did not touch the ball. And even if he did even got a toenail to it, he still took Foden out at the same time. It was a penalty. And this sort of stuff should have been shown to John Moss. It can happen in cricket. It can certainly happen in football. Should be shown on the monitor.
But how many times? It's interesting. How many times do you hear tennis, rugby, cricket having this discussion on technology? When do you ever hear the big Ferrari from cricket going, I can't believe the umpire or the fourth umpire or whatever has said he's actually that ball didn't touch the ground.
That comes down to the rules of those games are more clear, right?
So
I think the rules.
But on the penalty, there was only one thing. Did he touch the ball first?
Oh, I completely agree on this
isolated
incident. Yeah, I completely agree on the isolated incident. I just mean in general, the rules in football are a lot less defined than in other sports. Like, for example, tennis, you know, they have their actions they can call. They get it right, they keep the call. They get it wrong, you lose one. You know what I mean? You can't, those sort of things. For example, cricket's a lot slower pace of a game than football. So, you know, there's lots of things that are hard to implement in our game.
I'll tell you what, Andy, when you mentioned about when do you ever hear other sports arguing about decisions through video things, the Aussies all call us cheats after the World Cup final against New Zealand.
Wow.
Stoked ball. It's hilarious. I'm just going, umpire's decision, boys. They don't like it, and they're drawing 15 each on the last over, and we went in on technicality. All the Aussies call us cheats. It's hilarious. It's brilliant. I love it.
Well, listen, we've got another definite question tonight from Kurt. We're moving on to Kurt's question. Then we've just got a quick poll and a subscriber's question to finish off for tonight. So, Kurt, your question is about Riyad Mahrez.
The man himself, the guy who's obviously, you know, comes in for some criticism about parts of his game, his defensive abilities, aptitude, his application. But I think in the last five, Chris is a fair lad. He's a fair lad.
Yeah, calm down, Chris. Don't get fired up. Yeah.
And I think we've seen. I know I said before. I brought up stats to back me up that Mahrez, outside of Kevin De Bruyne, over the last 3 seasons, is by far our most creative player. If we don't have Kevin De Bruyne on the pitch, Mahrez is the one who's going to be creating the chances. And he averages 1.7 key passes a game, which is more than anybody else at City, barring Kevin De Bruyne, who's at a crazy 2.7 a game, which is just unbelievable. Key passes. Mahrez averages 2.1 shots a game, which we all know. Anyone who watches Mahrez know he wants to get inside and take his shot. I think a lot of the criticisms, I know people don't particularly think that Mahrez's best position is up high and wide, which I often would mostly agree with them. But I think the options in our midfield allow for a lot of obviously our positions rotate, right? So if Kevin De Bruyne is playing as the right centre midfielder, he can go on the right wing and Mahrez can operate in a more central space for a few minutes, or if he sees an opportunity to run into the inside, he knows that someone's going to cover the outside for him. I think, like we were talking earlier with, and Andy was mentioning with the switch of play, there is not a single person in our squad that's got a better first touch. Maybe Bernardo's close, but Mahrez is by far the best first touch in our team. And having that first touch creates space, because when you control the ball correctly the first time, you have more time to make your next decision. Yeah. And what that does is if we're drilling it down the left and we've got nothing on and we swap it over to Mahrez on the right, he's going to take that ball and create. And I just think he drives at players. I think it's 1.8 dribbles per game. We know often sometimes he does himself with his dribbles, but at the end of the day, in terms of forward going players, there's no one who puts in more stats than him other than Kevin De Bruyne in terms of thing. And I just want to talk about, we all know, we all like having the guys in there, like Bernardo, who run all day. But at the end of the day, winning football matches is about putting the ball in the back of the net. And outside of Kevin De Bruyne, Mahrez is our most prolific player. And I just wanted to talk about your thoughts on him being dropped and rotated and his role for the rest of the season in our squad. We can start this one off with you, Chris. Chris, if you got anything for us from that one?
No, nothing, mate.
I was watching Chris's face all the way through them comments then, and you could see he's going redder and redder and redder, but there we go.
Listen, let me get this absolutely straight here. Mahrez has been really good in the last few weeks. I mean, seriously good.
6 weeks.
But the game against Southampton, I've never seen him play like that. I've never seen it. Was like, no, we ain't losing this. We're not throwing this away. He absolutely just had the bit between his teeth. And that's what you expect from somebody you've paid £60 million for. You want a game changer. You want a player who can influence a game like that. He just picked the ball at both occasions and just, slammed the ball home. I was just so impressed with him. I really, really was. And he has been playing a hell of a lot better recently. Whether he's undroppable or not, I think is a hard question, because I don't think anybody falls into that category in this team. But at the minute, right now, he's overtaken Gundogan as our most sort of prolific.
Okay, I'll rephrase the question for you. Probably make it a bit easier. Is there anyone else you prefer on the right-hand side than Mahrez? I guess that's probably a better way to put it, rather than the undroppable thing, because we always talk about rotation and players getting rotated. I guess that's more of a question to ask then.
I've put him in my squad for this week. If I was picking the team, I would have Mahrez playing, because he is playing that well. He's a fantastic footballer, which I've always said, mate. I've always said he's a great footballer. I just didn't know whether he fit into the team as well as other players. There's no doubting right now, he's our most informed forward player, and I think I think that I would pick him. I think he's been. This is what I wanted from Riyad when he first signed. I want this consistency though to last. That's what I want. That's Riyad's problem. Whereas he used to be, I think I've said about he had a good game in 4 or 5. I don't mind now if he has a good, 4 or 5 games in 6 and has a bad game.
But this, I think when people say it a bad game, I think he's had good games. When people say he's had bad games, I think he gets mischaracterized in terms of his consistency. I think people think about him as an inconsistent player, but I think about him as quite a consistent player. I think he's one of the more consistent players in our squad.
I think he has been consistently poor at times. You know what I mean? So this is my point with him. I think he's a good footballer. I really do. And like you say, his first touch is something else. It is outstanding. But it wasn't that was against Southampton. It was his determination that we were not throwing that result away. He put us back into positions of control. I was really disappointed when Pep pulled him off as well. I wanted him to carry on. I think he's. I would pick him at the minute. I think he's doing really well.
Have you swapped your shirt again, Alan?
No, it's the same one.
Oh, is it?
It's not the same one.
Is it the same?
Unfortunately, I've only got a few clothes down here with me, so I can't swap shirts down here in Hobart.
Well, Ray Fernley says Mahrez is growing on me, to be fair. We all have opinions, Chris, and we all love you. There you go. Okay. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. So, what are your thoughts about it, Alan? I don't know if we want to go with the rephrase question of who you'd rather have on the undroppable side of it. I don't know what your thoughts are.
At the moment, Riyad Mahrez's confidence is high, and you can see that the way he's playing, without any shadow of a doubt. So, while his confidence is high, you play him. All right, he is going to have a game where he slumps back down again. But the only thing I would say I would like, when, let's say, Mahrez is playing on the right, Sterling's playing on the left. When he gets rotated over there, Sterling plays there. I would like Pep to be able to swap them over during games more than he's doing. Okay, because there's times when they get the better of the fullbacks, get the better of the wingers. But hopefully, at the moment, Mahrez is playing really well. So you just got last 6 games. I think he's done really well. Southampton being the exception where he played outstanding. I would just like to see more rotation from the wings, because like you say, when Bernardo or KDB play the inside, he can come inside and play then. That other person, KDB or Bernardo, could go on the right hand side and play there. But that's what happens in the City team. They never stay out wide all the way through the game. And I'd just like to see more rotation and crossing them over. And the same when Foden plays on the left and Mahrez on the right, swap them over every now and again, because sometimes fullbacks get the better of you, and they do. I'd just like to see more of that. But at the moment, I don't think it's about droppable. I think it's, Pep, as we all know, rotates. So he's going to be, there's games when he's going to come out and in. And there's a lot of piss taking going on here. And I can see that's going on from the comments, but there we go. But yeah, I'm happy with Mahrez. I'm just glad that I'm taking the piss out of Chris and Andy with their attitude towards the player. It's been quite funny actually seeing their faces. We all have our favourites and we all have our beliefs. We all have our favourites.
But both Andy have said all along that we both think he's a fantastic footballer. We're just not.
Yeah, I don't think anyone thinks that you
have Mahrez as you get frustrated with him because he has got the ability, but he doesn't produce at times, and you two get frustrated. I get the same frustrations. I'll be honest with you, with Sterling. He annoys me at times because we know he can do a lot better at times, and he frustrates me. So I have the same attitude towards Sterling. I'll be honest with you, because, like you say, he could score 60 goals a season, but he doesn't. And what's Ross up to?
I don't know. He's giving me some grief.
He's texting me at the same time, so obviously he's obviously busy, isn't he?
The thing I think about it with Mahrez. Go on, Andy. Go on, Chris. Sorry.
This is nothing to do with Mahrez. Ross said he could only do an hour tonight, and he's been on.
I know.
Could have just had him on, couldn't we?
To get Charlie asleep.
Yeah, go on.
Just say City. Yeah.
Sorry, Ross. Carry on, mate. Sorry, not Ross. Kurt. Sorry.
I was just going to mention as like sort of a final point on it. Like in terms of in front of goal, I just always back Mahrez to put it in the back of the net more so than a lot of the guys that we have in our front line. I just think I think that's a big reason why he gets picked. And as I said earlier, with his first touch, that means why he's probably the one who gets the most fixed position out of the front three, just because of what he can offer. And I just love watching him play. He's a really exciting player, and I'm just really happy that he's improving some of the parts of these games that he's obviously not been good enough with in terms of his pressing, his willingness to get back into a defensive shape. Doesn't have to make a tackle, but just being there, holding up a player, allowing other players to get back into position is important. And he did an exceptional job at Southampton. But what about you, Andy? What are your thoughts on Mahrez, undroppable right wing, and here in the last 6 weeks?
Ross says Lucy's driving so I can give Alan shit. There you go. Mahrez. Well, I mean, like, I think Chris is spot on. We've never been in a situation where I said Mahrez is shit player. Should
Yeah, of course.
I said all along, I don't think he has been performing consistently enough to be at City, and that was prior to Christmas. Even prior to Christmas, I still thought over the previous three years, he's been extremely inconsistent, and that's been his problem for me. You'll get one good game out of 5, and that good game is possibly a 7 out of 10. The very odd 8 or 9 out of 10 performance throughout the season, and I mean very odd, very, very odd 8 or 9 out of 10. But what we've seen again, just like we've seen of Gundogan, a very similar story with Gundogan. I think somebody brought it up. I don't know. It's Chris brought it up a few weeks ago on the FNS saying, "Well done a minute, Gundogan prior to January, but wasn't that great?" Yeah, he's just hit this vein of form, and I think Mahrez is doing that. And now we're seeing that consistency. I mean, he's got the most amazing technical ability. Don't get me wrong. I've always said he's amazingly technically brilliant and best first touch I've seen it in the City shirt. But it's interesting. And I'll try and back this up with a few facts, okay? I'll try and back this up. Long may it continue with Mahrez for me. And is he undroppable? No, because Pep rotates. That's the problem. Same as the defence. That's the problem. But if you were picking your best squad, I think right now he'd be in it every single day of the week because he is on fire at the moment. But I was just pulling up some stats. Riyad Mahrez so far this season. 36 games, all right? I'm going to write these down because you probably won't. 10 goals, 5 assists. I'll write down the next players' goals and assists. Next players' goals and assists. And I'll write down the next players' goals and assists. So I've got them, and then I don't have to be referring to them. So here we go. So that one is Riyad. That one is that one, and that one is that one. One is that one. Okay, here we go. 36 games, Riyad Mahrez. 10 goals, 5 assists. Raheem Sterling, 36 games, 13 goals, 10 assists. So double the assists Raheem Sterling's got of Mahrez, and 3 more goals. Phil Foden, 35 games. He's got 11 goals and 8 assists. So he's got 1 more goal and he's got 3 more assists than Riyad Mahrez. Bernardo Silva, 32 games, 5 goals and 5 assists. So out of those 4, if we include KDB as a regular starter, out of those 4, and we can probably bring in Ilkay Gundogan into that now because of his goal-scoring feat. So let me just very quickly bring up Gundogan's stats because he is one that at the moment seems to be a little bit undroppable because he's done so well. Ilkay Gundogan, here you go. Same amount of games as Bernardo Silva, who has got 5 goals and 5 assists, but has 14 goals and 3 assists. And it goes back to the question I said a couple of weeks ago on the FNS. Mahrez has been brilliant in a run of 2 or 3, 4 games. Not consistently brilliant because his stats, his goals and assists don't add up to Raheem Sterling's.
He's not played the minutes, nowhere near the minutes Raheem Sterling.
Okay.
It's like 450 less, I believe.
He is. I'll bring Riyad Mahrez up to 2,468, and I'm not bringing up the games he's played in either. So he has played 400 minutes less than Raheem Sterling.
Yeah, around about that. Like I said,
and he's played 100 minutes more than Phil Foden.
Yeah, Phil Foden's numbers for his minutes is absolutely unbelievable. Anyone who looks at just the base stats is crazy.
He's played more minutes than Ilkay Gundogan. He's played more minutes than Phil Foden.
Yeah,
he's 400 minutes less than Raheem Sterling.
Yeah, he's our second most played winger.
Yeah, so he has got. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think in the last few games, he's been sensational, absolutely sensational. But if he continues, my worry is, will he continue to do that, or is that a run of 3 or 4 games where he's been great, and then he'll drift out for the next important phase of a game in the next 3 or 4 games? I don't know, but I do think he'll be rotated. Is he undroppable? Not on form. He should be in this team every day of the week, but Pep will rotate him. He just will.
Yeah.
But his stats for me are not as good as Sterling or Foden's or Ilkay Gundogan.
No, but you'll also find a trend of this the positions that the players play and the stats that you brought up and the position that Morris plays. The left side is clearly our strong side. So
yeah, I agree. I do agree with that, and that's the thing.
Because Bernardo's numbers are naff on the right as well.
Pairs, pairings. It does come down to that. And if we see that, Pep must see it. The tactical team must see it.
Yeah, well, I always just go on like the chances created, and it's just outside of Kevin De Bruyne over the last 3 years, consistently he creates more chances than anyone else in our team. And I always like to give Riyad a bit of a bump up. But yeah, I do agree with, to like finish off that one, I do agree with you guys about undroppableness just because of the reality of rotation in our squad. But if we were just going to go stick a right winger on the team sheet and we had to pick the one I prefer the most, it'd be Riyad every day of the week for me.
Is in there right now. Is in there right now for me. No,
but it goes back to the points we were making. Who have we got in our squad that's bad?
Yeah. And it's great. It's great to see him back. It really is.
Like I said, it's about his movement and work off the ball that was more impressive. Because when you see a player like that doing that, it talks about their mentality and their commitment, and that's something that we have labelled at Mahrez, quite rightly so. Is his commitment to win the ball back when he loses it and get in position defensively and help out the fullbacks.
You've seen that more, haven't you? In the last games, you've definitely seen that's been a big thing. Me and Chris have always said he's so lazy coming back.
I'm gonna do a breakdown of running stats at some point this week when I get time.
Do it.
I want to look at it because
that's why I like Bernardo in the team, because the amount of work.
That's why everyone loves
the ball,
him. Yeah,
and he runs back, covers the hole. He runs back defensively. I just think he links the team so well, Bernardo.
The problem you've got though, Alan, with that is that's fine and that's great and that's brilliant, and we know that sometimes goals and assists are not everything, because when we're in the season where we're not scoring the goals we have been previously without a centre forward and things like we're playing with a false 9 basically. All right, when he plays, you might call him a natural 9, but because he drifts out and drifts all over the place. Yeah. You need your other players to chip in with goals and assists. Yeah. And the problem being is Bernardo he'll run his socks off and he's wonderful, tracks back. I mean, I love the player, love him to bits.
I do as well.
But when you've not got a natural 20, 25 goal a season striker, you need your other players to chip in. Mahrez is starting to chip in now with goals. Said it there. 10 and 5 assists. Sterling 13 and 10 assists. Foden 11 and 8 assists. But you've got Bernardo on 5 and 5 goals and 5 assists. He needs to be, for the amount of minutes that he's on, fairly close to the likes of a Foden, and he needs to be scoring more goals and he needs to be assisting more. And maybe he's not in exactly the same position as a Mahrez.
No, he's not.
He's got to be. But if you look at Kevin De Bruyne's stats,
they're not out of this world.
They're not, but his assists are phenomenal. So if you're not scoring goals, 16, 17 assists.
But Kevin's playing in the false nine role most of the time these days.
And Kevin averages 3.3 shots a game.
Yeah,
more than anyone else.
Yeah,
he's playing that. Yeah, he's playing up right up top now. Isn't he?
Yeah, he averages 1.5 shots more than anyone else in our team.
That's frightening
per game, and he doesn't score nowhere near as many as he should, and it doesn't get talked about enough.
For somebody who's crap, maybe we need to get rid of him.
Definitely sell him. I'll get rid of him.
If anybody hasn't seen on Twitter, you've got I think I've mentioned it previously. I'm just trying to bring it up. Let me just find it. You must go and watch it. It is it's City content. And if you've not seen the Southampton one that he's done, it's at City. I'll put it up on here so you can go and see it. It's at City Chance. Go over and follow it. The content he does this, the automated voice over.
Oh, the comedy skit type deals.
But the one that he's done on the Southampton game is absolutely hilarious.
I think Alan sends me them. Is that the ones?
Does it?
Alan? Yeah, you always send me them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
they're a good crack, lads. Check it out.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I sent them new.
They're a good crack. They're worth a watch if you've got a few minutes.
But the new one was the Pale Pelly. He calls Kate. the Pale Pelly. The actual sound bites on it are hilarious. If you've not seen it, go and watch it. But anyway, is he undroppable? On form, absolutely undroppable. He's on fire at the moment. Problem being is that typical Pep, drop him tomorrow. We know that's going to happen. I hope he doesn't. The Jamaican Eusebio says, CE1. He's been superb. But right, we have run over slightly, so I do apologise. But we are going to quickly go through this. Before I do, the final question, the guys can choose it. Today's poll was, which ex-Man City player would you like to see playing in this City team? And I gave you 4 options plus another. First one was King Clancy. Second one was Gota. Third one was Tevez. Fourth one was Dzeko. And the fifth one, I said, another, answer below. We had anybody different from yours. Elano, said Tyrone Douglas.
That was me as well. I stick to with Elano.
Yeah. Silver for It's Me. Yaya Torre said Jade. Kurt, you said Elano as well. Paul, MCFC, 1989. I think he was taking the piss. He said Georgios Samaras.
No.
Kevin Moll said Colin Bell. 9320 NW said Benarbia. Ross Evans says Paul Lake. There you go. But looking at the winner on the actual voting poll, it was, let me see, 7% was Sean Gota, 9% was another, 12% was King Clancy, 28% was Tevez, and 44% was Edin Dzeko. So there you go. That was the poll. That was the poll. But I did
Edin Dzeko.
Right. I did say I'd ask one question tonight before we go, and the question I did say, do you have a question for the guys on the Friday Night Social? Post it below, and we'll select one of them. So here you go. You can choose. So as I read them out, just make a note of whether you think it's that one or the other one, because you guys are going to decide, not me. Otherwise, I'll be accused of favouritism. Somebody said, guys, do you think Sergio will stay at City? Do you ever think he will regain his fitness? He looks a bit heavy and slower. or is it me? I know he hates training and even warming up, and I know it will take time to get. So, do you think Sergio's going to stay? Another one says, Man City was 13th back in December, 8 points adrift to Liverpool at top. We now sit 14 points clear. Do you think this City side is one of the best? We now have Centurions, Formidables, and now possibly Inevitable that could go alongside these special teams. One says, what is your dream team 11 for 2020, 21-22, realistically? Another one says, do you think UEFA Champions League should be a straight game knockout due to COVID like last season in light of games being moved? And as we know, the City game has been moved for Gladbach. Hi guys, believe Zaba is in talks for a role at City, but what role would you guys think he should be doing? Felix or Haaland in the summer if Sergio goes, or promote Delap and use Foden as a false 9 next season? Or finally, Joe Hart or Edison? So you guys, you decide which ones. Martin has put a super chat in. Great show, guys. The Four Amigos on fire. Thank you very much. Much appreciated, buddy. Hope you're well.
He's a stingy git, isn't he? Stingy git. That doesn't even get me a box.
Tight git, Martin. You tight sod.
And then we also had the
Get your money out, Martin. Get your money out.
Hold on 1 second. We've got John Grogan on a super sticker. Thank you so much, John. John, if you want a question, don't forget, if you do put a super chat or a super sticker, you can have a question and we will read it out. We promise you. Any super chats or questions, we will read them out. So, but thank you, John Groden, for that. And thanks, Martin, for that. Appreciate it. So, guys, I'm going to go to Kurt first. Which is your question?
A lot of nice questions there, but the one that stands out to me, just on the old heartstrings, is the Zabaleta one, and about what role he'd take. I don't know.
Hold on. I'm just asking you a question.
Okay, no worries.
And then we'll
no worries.
We'll choose which one. Alan, which one?
The Sergio one. Is it the end or not?
Sergio. Chris?
I actually think the Sergio one, but I think that might be, we might drift until 1 o'clock in the morning if we do that.
Yeah.
With Zabaleta,
you're
talking about my hero there. So
we're going Zaba.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Zaba is the winner. We'll hold this Sergio question for next week. So let me see who asked that question. It is Andy Blue Moon, and he's. I'll just copy this across so that he can. Everyone can see Andy Blue Moon's question. And this was his question that he posted below. And don't forget, guys, if you check out the community chat, there's tons of stuff going on every day, polls, questions, things like that. And this is from Andy Blue Moon. And he says, that's the one chosen for tonight. He says, hi, guys. Believe Zaba is in talks for a role at City, but what role would you guys think he should be doing? Oh, it's great news. It's true. Go to Chris first.
I'd have Zaba basically anywhere where he wants to be, but he should be the one who sits on the sidelines for me, and anybody who doesn't perform goes to see Zaba, and they can get a clout off him. For me, Zabaleta is probably out of recent times is probably my favourite player. He might not have been, a David Silva or a Sergio Aguero in terms of what the skills he had, but there's nobody more committed to the cause than Zabaleta was. I hope he comes back. I hope he has some role in that sort of keeping the a coaching role, basically. But I'd like to see him have some influence. But this is quite a funny one, because last season I was kind of crying out for Zaba to come back to give us some of that heart back from it. But it seems to have come back. Whether that's Ruben Diaz. You can put Vincent in the same boat as that. But for me, get Zaba back on the coaching staff as a part of the defence staff. But I think motivationally, the guy has got to be, because he's such a lovely bloke as well. For that, he was a hard man on the pitch. In a time where football's fairly soft, You know, he was a proper, could have played in any era, Zabaleta, no doubt about it. He could have played in the 70s on those muddy pitches, no doubt whatsoever. An absolute gem of a guy. Love him. I just hope he does come back. I really do.
Me too. Alan?
I love Zaba initially with the youth team, helping out there, learning how to do the coaching. But eventually, I think he should come and take over from Brian Kidd. Brian's now the wrong.
That's a bloody good shout. That is a great shout.
Brian Kidd now is like late. Is he mid-70s now?
Yes,
Brian?
yeah, he's like 74.
Yeah, you know, there's going to be a point where Brian's going to, you know, with all due respect, have an honorary place in the City hierarchy and sit like Fergie does at United, just sits in his own chair, which will be named after him, all that sort of stuff, you know. And I'm sure he'll get the same at Old Trafford, to be honest with you, because he's a stalwart of Manchester. He knows everybody. He's respected at City. He's respected at City. He's respected at Man United. He's respected everywhere in Manchester. And you can't speak highly of the guy. But as far as Zaba's concerned, eventually, I think he should be offered that post what Brian Kidd's in as a coach, and then he can sit on the bench. He can bollock players. He can encourage you, especially the younger ones. I think he'd be the good intermediate between the youth team and the senior side, because can you imagine being a kid in the changing rooms and he walks in to give you help and coach you? You're going to listen. Vinny would be another one in that mold, but I personally think Vinny will end up at City, but in a higher role than the manager. I think because he's educated that much, I think Vinny will end up in a higher role. And I'm talking upstairs. I really do.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Kurt?
Well, I was going to make some really nice points, but Alan beat me to the pip. I was basically going to say, come in, fit him, and basically anywhere, get you. I don't know how he. I think he's coaching badges, but I don't know what level he's up to. So get him fully up to the level, and then basically replace Brian Kidd as the link between the fans and the backroom staff. Because at every club, you look at what Carlo Ancelotti did when he took over at Everton. The first thing he did was keep Dunk Ferguson right involved, right there. And it does two things, because whatever the next manager is, the manager coming in will have Zabaleta to help them integrate a lot easier. And these types of personalities in clubs are so important. I think he'd do an exceptional job, be it an ambassador role, be it a coaching role. But I'd personally like to see him in a coaching role and then come into the first team in like a couple of years, basically echoing what Alan said. But what, like Chris and everyone else says, we all love Zaba. He loves this club. He loves Manchester, and it'd be a pleasure to have him back. Absolute pleasure.
Yes. I mean, God, I remember that video on Man City TV.
The old ladies.
No, the one with the kid when he walked through the curtains. And I mean, Zaba's just like in tears and everything, talking about the fact he was leaving the club. And he's an absolute adopted man. He really is. He's an absolute legend for me of the club. He really is. Loves the club, loves the city, loves Digsbury, loves the Mancunian people. He's amazing. Guys, I will give a shout out. If you want to go over, look at Ian Cheeseman's Forever Blue podcast. He's interviewing Pablo Zabaleta, and I've not watched it yet. I only saw it before, and he is interviewing, so I will check that out tomorrow at some point. He's going to do it in several parts, I believe, but go over and check out Ian Cheeseman on Twitter. Like I said, it should be interesting listening to Zaba. Absolute legend. For me, I think that's a brilliant shout out, Alan. I think Kiddo has been absolutely amazing for Man City. Not only as a player, but what he's done in that coaching intermediary role. That, you know, you always need one person at a club that can,
the old guy.
Yeah, the person who can mix with the players, but also then be on the side of the manager and be that go-between. And Brian Kidd has done that absolutely perfectly at Man City. And long may it continue. That's not to say Kiddo should be gone. But he's getting no younger. I think he's 72, is he? 71, 72 or something like early 70s, whatever.
The responsibilities have been reducing over the last 3 years anyway.
Yeah, and obviously with COVID and everything else, there's obviously issues things. So I think Zaba would be that perfect role to learn about coaching, get his licenses, learn a bit about the business like Vinny did and Vieira's done and everyone else, and God knows where he could go because he's an absolute adopted monk, and just like Vinny is, and I think he'd be sensational if we can get him on board at some point. But anyway, great question, Andy Blue Moon. Great question. Look, even Chris he's got tears in his eyes, I think. There,
Andy,
listen, I know you love Zaba. I know you love.
My love for Zabaleta has not diminished one iota. It's gone up
in
the time he's gone away.
I
absolutely love the guy. Really.
You just look at West Ham fans and ask them their opinion about Zabaleta, and that will tell you everything you need to know about Zabaleta as a person and as a man. Simple as.
Yeah, they love him, and he wasn't there. He was only there 18 months or something, and they loved him. Ross says, "Got a picture of Zaba and Silva with my dad. Means a lot." What picture, mate? Zaba is a true Mancunian. He definitely is a definite Mancunian. Zaba is bigger City legend than even Isco.
That's what I was giggling about earlier. Top quality.
The experienced guy. Cheesy top vote being on the channel. Cafe Del Casual seen Sergio in Piccadilly Records buying Afro beats. I bet you did. Julio. I don't know what that's about. Social Hub, the big man on campus, the go-to guy. Martin says, thanks, guys, for cheering me up for nearly 3 hours. Such a pleasure. Thank you. Thank you very much, Martin. Hope you're well, buddy. Andy Blumen says, thank you, guys. Lena said, when Zaba plays, he gives 100%. Always did. Was it 17-18 season when we won the league that day? He did that speech in a white shirt. Alan, really, I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means either.
Of his keyboard or something.
It's on the train, isn't it? Zaba Martin has a beautiful fridge in his background.
What?
Random.
Oh, Martin, I think you better check your bedroom or wherever you are. You might have a hidden there, mate. Great show. It's always great as usual. Thanks, Dupes. Ross, that's from Charlie. Okay, there you go. Great, Evanes. They all say, thank you, Sean. Zaba is simply classic. He is, says, let love lead. Michael says, Chris, you're dead right. Pablo's a top player. Love the guy. Thanks for a great stream, says CE1. Thank you very much. Right, that is run over by 25 minutes. City. I keep getting Charlie's videos coming through off Ross. Some of them are absolutely brilliant. BHE says, cracking as always, lads. Thank you very much. Julio says, Chris Baker. Dupe, I don't know where you're asking about Sterling. You're a bit late tonight, Dupes. What's wrong with you, mate? You're asking about Gundogan and Pep, one player and manager. We said that at the beginning of the video. You have to go back and watch it. What's going on with you? You're normally on first thing, but you haven't been tonight. Thanks, guys. Always great show, the FNS. Thank you, mate. Appreciate it. Chris Baker about to do a magic trick and disappear in his vape smoke. Thank you for a great show, guys. Always cheers us up. Thank you. You're welcome, Andy. See you, lads. Good stream. Thank you, Cafe Del Casual. Bye, guys. Prediction for tomorrow. Alec Johnson, we've already done it. We did it in the preview at the beginning. Go back and watch it. My missus just said, she ain't a fridge, cheeky sod.
Fine duck.
Oh, God, Martin. You didn't read that one out, did you? Sorry, I was late. Don't worry about it. Dupes. Andy must be the Jamie Redknapp of Man City Fan TV now with that new model cut. Don't you call me Jamie Redknapp. Horsey City said, Julio, stop it, Chris. Is mine. Always has been. Sean Fogarty, thank you very much for that, buddy. Really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Peace, boys, says Tyrone Douglas. Peace to you, brother. Another great show as usual, the Best City channel on YouTube by a long way. Thank you so much, Stephen Dempster. Really do appreciate it. But anyway, this is Andy from Man City Fan TV. I want to say a massive, massive thank you for these guys who give up their time. Kurt, thank you very much, buddy.
Always a pleasure. I love coming on and chatting with you boys and everyone in the comments. Stay safe and have a good weekend, everybody.
Thank you. Sir Alan in Tassie. Enjoy.
I know. Yeah, I'm here for the weekend. So, yeah, obviously keep safe, everybody back home in Manchester. Let's hope the City get a win. It's a must-win game. We've got to keep winning. And I'll see everybody next week, hopefully.
Linny, it wasn't just your question, but we will hold that one for next week. Chris Baker will make a note of that because it was actually a question Alan wanted to talk about tonight, but he already had a previous question, and then we had other questions as well to take. So, Linny, you and Alan can ask that question next week, I promise. Let me just say thank you so much, guys. Great stream, as always. Stay safe. You too. Great show, says Alex. Thanks. To Andy, Chris, Kurt, Alan, great lads. Thank you, Mingy Wong, for coming on. As usual,
Turn the love eggs off.
Rabbit. Mute. Look at him. It's clueless, isn't it? It's that loud in his ear. She really said that as well. You're on loud, wasn't me? Great show, says Leonard. Yeah, great show from Alan and whoever is taken over to meet his parents in Tasmania. But she's having a good time, whoever she is. But anyway, Alan, mute. We don't want to listen to your girlfriend in the next room. Bloody hell. Don't forget to look out for the Chris Facts on Twitter. Tell your friends about the channel. Yeah, thank you. Great stream, lads, as usual. Thank you. Oh, no, says Charlie. Dolls have arrived. Thank you, everyone. Chris, cheers, buddy.
Yes, thanks, mate. It's been a great stream. Some real funny comments in the
brilliant
in the comments now.
It's been absolutely brilliant.
Really good, really funny. Yeah, come and join us next week, lads, because and lasses, if there's any out there.
Yes.
Next week's a bit of a big one. So, yeah, thank you very much for joining us. Thanks for all the funny comments. I love doing this. It's great, and thank you for the Zaba question.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you a pre-warning for next week. I didn't even know it was Chris that reminded me. Next week, believe it or not, this just shows you. Next week will be the 1-year anniversary of the Friday Night Social. A year. Can you believe we've been doing the Friday Night Social for a year? It was a thing I thought up of just let's do something for COVID. Chris was involved and others, and it's like, what should we do? Should we do something? We'll call it Friday Night Social. Let's just get together. It's a year, and it seems to be probably the most popular show that we have. We might not get the views that watch-alongs and everything else gets, but it seems to be the show that everybody likes and looks forward to. So we originally decided to do it through COVID times when there was no football, and then that continued, and then we had a bit of a pause, and then it came back, and now it seems to be a regular thing every Friday night. It's the Friday Night Social. But thank you so much, everybody. Really do appreciate it. It'd be no good if it'd be just us four. We could just have a Zoom call and chat to ourselves. It's about you guys and all your comments. And I must admit tonight, it's been very funny. Very, very funny. Some of the comments have been amazing. Absolutely amazing. So I want to say a massive thank you to the guys for coming on, giving up their time. It is 2.5 hours. It should have been 11:30 we finished, but as usual, me, I can't time manage, and I've run over by half an hour, so I do apologise to the guys, and apologise. Kurt was very insistent, 11:30 tonight, and I do apologise, Kurt. But thank you, and thank you to everyone, and all your comments. Happy match day, everyone. You too. Is Chris vaping? Thinking about Mahrez again. But take care. If you're not a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell icon. Before you go now, just give it a thumbs up. Click it below. It takes you a millisecond. to hit it and give it a thumbs up. And if you're late like Dupes and all the others, you can watch it back. And what we will do is we'll probably put out a best bits maybe tomorrow night or Sunday, and you can watch it back, the best bits. But take care. Have a safe weekend. Come on, City, tomorrow. Let's continue that run. And we'll be back at some point, maybe tomorrow, maybe Sunday. But we'll see you soon.